Nepal enters final stretch before crucial House of Representatives election. Election Commission advises on procedures and polling ahead of polls. Nepal's Home Minister assures fair and fear-free March 5 HR election, urges voters to participate with confidence. Scrub typhus spreads rapidly in Nepal amid seasonal illnesses, health experts warn. Nepalis face long queues for cooking gas as elections spark panic buying and shortages. Pakistan-Afghanistan tensions erupt into an open war. Taliban attack Pakistani posts despite October ceasefire. And Sankata Club of Nepal beats Chitlang FC 4-0 in Anfa National League. Nigerian striker Richard Onyeama scores hat-trick. Hello there, I'm Ipralagi Singh Lama. Welcome to NTV World Primetime News, coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo, and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in details. With just 1 week remaining, authorities in Nepal are taking extensive measures to ensure a credible and smooth election. Security has been stepped up with 4 levels of agencies deployed, sensitive polling locations monitored, and border points in key districts sealed 72 hours before voting to prevent cross-border interference. A nationwide ban on the sale and consumption of alcohol began 7 days before polling. On March 4th, public and private vehicle movement will be restricted from midnight until the evening of March 5, except for essential services. Air travel will continue as usual. The legally mandated silence period starts on March 2nd midnight, prohibiting all forms of election campaigning. Candidates are urged to adhere strictly to the code of conduct and avoid obstructing rivals. Voters are reminded to verify polling locations and carry valid identification, including voter ID, citizenship certificate, passport, national ID, driver's license, or land ownership certificates. Authorities also emphasize relying only on official information to avoid misinformation. With Nepal's House of Representatives election just a week away, security has been tightened nationwide, particularly at sensitive polling stations. Dolakha district, identified as one of the most sensitive areas due to past incidents of booth capturing and clashes, is under high-level monitoring. Home Minister Om Prakash Aryal and Acting Chief Election Commissioner Ram Prasad Bhandari visited Baiteshwar to inspect security arrangements and ensure voter safety. Authorities stress that these measures aim to allow citizens to vote in a fear-free environment.
यसपालि अब हामी त चुनावी सरकार हो, यो नागरिक सरकार हो। हामी अब कानुन कार्यान्वयन गर्नलाई हामी हिचकिचाउँदैनौँ। यसपालि कुनै पक्षधरता छैन, हामीले खाली कानुनको पक्ष लिने हो। कानुन विपरीतका क्रियाकलापहरू हुन्छन् भनेदेखि कसैको मतदानको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ, कोही उम्मेदवारको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ, मतदाताको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ, अरू कसैको राष्ट्रसेवकको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ। जोसुकैको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ र कानुन विपरीतका काम भएका छन् भनेदेखि चाहिँ हामीले त्यसलाई निस्तेज गर्छौं र बाँकी चाहिँ कानुनी कारबाही पनि गर्छौं। दण्डहीनता रहन दिदैनौं। अहिले गलत क्रियाकलाप गर्नेलाई हामीले उन्मुक्ति दिन सक्दैनौं यसपालि।
Election Commission of Nepal has reported that out of 3,406 candidates registered for the upcoming House of Representatives elections on March 5th, only 1,670 have opened bank accounts for election-related finances. Similarly, of the 65 political parties participating, only 11 have set up accounts, including major parties such as the Nepali Congress, Rashtriya Jana Morcha, and the Nepali Communist Party. Election Commission's assistant spokesperson Sita Punshri said that the accounts are required to ensure transparency in campaign funding and adherence to legal expenditure limits. The system is designed to allow authorities to effectively monitor financial assistance received by both candidates and parties during the election period. Officials emphasize that compliance with this requirement is critical for maintaining the integrity of Nepal's democratic process. Now, in other news, newly appointed Chinese ambassador to Nepal, Zhang Maoming, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Sushila Karki at Singadarbar, Kathmandu. During the meeting, Prime Minister Karki congratulated Ambassador Maoming and expressed confidence that he would strengthen Nepal-China relations and efficiently discharge his diplomatic responsibilities. Ambassador Maoming lauded Nepal for conducting peaceful elections and reaffirmed China's commitment to supporting Nepal's democratic process. Both leaders exchanged greetings for the new year and discussed ongoing cooperation in development projects, cultural ties and partnerships between the two countries. Prime Minister Karki emphasized Nepal's adherence to the Panchashil principles and reaffirmed the country's commitment to the One China policy, highlighting the historical and geographical bonds shared by the nations. Scrub typhus, a disease transmitted by rat mites, has been spreading rapidly across Nepal, coinciding with an increase in seasonal colds and viral fevers. The infection caused by the bacterium Orencia susugumashi produces symptoms such as high fever, severe headache, muscle pain, red eyes, and a characteristic black scab at the bite site. Health experts warn that if left untreated, the disease can damage organs such as the liver, kidneys and lungs, and in severe cases can be fatal. Doctors recommend precautions such as maintaining clean surroundings, wearing protective clothing in fields or bushes, controlling rat populations and seeking immediate medical care if symptoms appear. According to Sher Bahadur Pun, an infectious disease specialist at Sukraraj Tropical and Communicable Disease Hospital, timely diagnosis and proper antibiotic treatment can completely cure the disease, making early awareness and action crucial. Now we're going for a short break here. More news coming up. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Welcome back. District Administration Office of Kathmandu, Nepal has urged residents to celebrate Holi, the country's major spring festival, peacefully while keeping the upcoming parliamentary elections in mind. Authorities have requested people to avoid large public gatherings, fairs and the sale or distribution of alcohol in open spaces, emphasizing that celebrations are allowed within homes in a religious and cultural manner. The office highlighted that the Election Code of Conduct prohibits the use of candidate symbols, flags, stickers or campaign materials during festivals or public events. Officials also warned that pouring paint or water against someone's will, causing noise or engaging in disorderly behavior violates the law. This notice aims to ensure that holy festivities do not disrupt public order or interfere with the electoral process in Nepal's upcoming elections. Nepali consumers are facing severe cooking gas shortages ahead of the upcoming parliamentary elections, despite the Nepal Oil Corporation (NOC) claiming it has imported 25% more gas than usual. Households are forced to wait weeks for a single cylinder, with long queues forming at depots such as NOC's office in Teku, Lalitpur. Candidates campaigning for the 100% House of Representatives election have promised to end black marketing, ensure access to essential supplies, and even extend gas pipelines to every home. NOC officials attribute the shortage partly to panic buying by consumers fearing scarcity during the election period, while also working with private companies to improve distribution. Consumer rights activists warn that opaque distribution and black marketing by traders continue to leave ordinary Nepalis struggling, even though daily supply is claimed to exceed 172,000 cylinders across the country. Youths from Nepal's far western districts are gaining hands-on training and real work opportunities through local government initiatives. The Dhangari Sub-Metropolis Employment Fair has connected participants from Sudar Paschim province with jobs already requested by employers, confirmed internships and skill-building programs that are expected to turn training into tangible career paths. Our colleague Sarah Sapsanama Rai with local correspondent Dinesh Bister brings more.
A skill and employment fair launched by the local level has pledged employment to hundreds of youths. The 2 days fair was aimed at connecting young people of 88 local levels across Sudar Paschim province with practical opportunities, tackling unemployment and making them self-reliant. Youths from 83 local levels participated in the program this year.
बेसिक नलेज पनि थाहा थिएन हामीलाई जस्तै बारिस्टा भनेको के हो भनेर पनि थाहा थिएन त्यो चाहिँ मैले यही बारिस्टामा आएर सिक्न पाएँ त्यसमा म धेरै खुसी छु र त्यही तालिम सिक्दैखेरि मैले अन्य हामी अब जबमा जाँदाखेरि पनि हामीले के कुराहरूमा ध्यान दिनुपर्छ के कुरा महत्त्वपूर्ण छ भन्ने कुराहरू पनि जान्न पाएको म धेरै
Various skill-based trainings across 22 different subjects were provided to them. As an impact, various employers issued a formal demand for 145 workers during the event. Out of this demand, 136 individuals have already undergone interviews, while 12 have been selected for internships. A special 2-day job matching session was also held, resulting in different employment for 21 participants, highlighting that such training bridges skill building with real economic opportunity. Deputy Mayor Kandakala Kumari Rana expressed confidence that the program lays a strong foundation for the future of young people.
जसमा सबैजना युवाले राम्रोसँग उत्साहजनकबाट तालिम लिनुभयो र गत वर्ष पनि हामी सुरु गरेका थियौं गत वर्षको उपलब्धि राम्रो र त्यसको हौसलाले यो वर्षको उपलब्धि पनि हामीमा एकदमै राम्रो भयो.
Following the initial training, participants were categorized into employment and self-employment groups, and they were provided with an additional 5 days of advanced training. According to the sub-metropolis, 216 individuals received entrepreneurship training. 223 underwent employment counseling. The organizers have already forwarded the profiles of several trained participants to potential employers. For those choosing the path of self-employment, coordination and facilitation will be provided through their respective local municipalities. Organizers claim that the fair is establishing itself as an effective province-level platform aimed at closing the gap between skills, opportunity and actual employment.
A 4.7 magnitude earthquake struck near the border of Songkhla and Taplejung districts in eastern Nepal at 3:18 a.m. on February 27. According to the National Seismological Center, the epicenter was located near Topkegola in Songkhla. Tremors from the quake were felt across both districts, causing alarm among residents. Initial reports indicate that there have been no casualties or damage to property. Authorities continue to monitor the situation and have advised residents to remain alert for any aftershocks. Time now for international news, but before that, a short break. Pakistan has declared it is in open war with Afghanistan's Taliban authorities after reported explosions in Kabul and intensified cross-border fighting. Pakistan said it carried out strikes in Kandahar and Paktika following what it described as Afghan attacks on Pakistani border troops. A spokesperson for the Afghan Taliban, Zabiullah Mujahid, said Afghan forces had launched large-scale offensive operations along the Durand Line, the disputed frontier between the two countries. The escalation follows months of deteriorating ties, with most land crossings shut after deadly clashes in October that killed more than 70 people. Pakistan accuses Kabul of failing to curb militant groups operating from Afghan soil, a charge the Taliban government denies. Many recent attacks in Pakistan have been claimed by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which has intensified assaults since the Afghan Taliban returned to power in 2021. Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif declared an all-out confrontation with the Taliban government, posting on X. Now it is open war between them and the Taliban. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the latest round of talks between Iran and the United States focused on Tehran's nuclear program and the lifting of sanctions, describing the discussions as making good progress. He said Iran had clearly outlined its demands and noted what he called evident seriousness from both sides to reach a negotiated solution. The talks come amid a significant U.S. military buildup in the region and repeated warnings from Donald Trump that strikes could follow if diplomacy fails. Araghchi said technical teams will meet at the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna on Monday to continue discussions with the agency experts. He added that another round of high-level talks between Tehran and Washington could take place within a week. Previous negotiations last year collapsed after an Israeli attack on Iran in June sparked a 12-day conflict. Now, an Indian court acquitted the former chief minister of the capital, Delhi, on Friday in a long-running corruption probe the man had called a political conspiracy by the ruling party. Opposition Aam Adami Party leader Arvind Kejriwal was Delhi's chief minister before losing elections in 2025 in the midst of the judicial proceedings. Kejriwal, 57, who spent several months in jail after he was arrested in March 2024 on accusations that his administration received kickbacks from the allocation of liquor licenses, wept as he left court. A key opponent to Modi, he had consistently denied wrongdoing. On Friday, a Delhi court cleared him, his former deputy Manish Sisodia, and 21 others of all charges. The UN Rights Chief, Volker Turk, addressed the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva on Friday, condemning mounting threats to women's rights worldwide, highlighting rampant femicide and horrific abuse exposed in cases like that of U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He also highlighted the extreme situation in Afghanistan, warning that the system of segregation imposed on women is reminiscent of apartheid based on gender rather than race.
Violence against women, including femicide, is a global emergency. Around 50,000 women and girls worldwide were killed in 2024, most by family members. I'm also deeply concerned by the growing number of attacks, including online, against women in public life.
More international news lined up. For now, a short break. Britain's ruling Labour Party suffered a heavy defeat in a by-election in northern England, finishing third behind the left-wing Greens and the hard-right Reform UK in what had been a traditional stronghold. Prime Minister Keir Starmer acknowledged voter frustration and described the result as disappointing, but said he would not resign amid mounting political pressure.
It's a very disappointing result. Incumbent governments quite often get results like that mid-term, but I do understand that voters are frustrated, they're impatient for change. And I came into politics, late in life as it happens, to fight for change for those people who need it, the people who need an NHS that works for them, to be able to get a doctor's appointment when they need it, to get the money they need in their pockets to pay their bills, and to have a decent and better life. And I will keep on fighting for those people for as long as I've got breath in my...
Now, in other news, the European Union will implement a mammoth trade deal with the South American Mercosur bloc while waiting for a top court's ruling on its legality, says EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen. The European Commission move announced after Argentina and Uruguay ratified the agreement a day earlier comes despite strong opposition from the key power, France. The European Commission's move announced after Argentina and Uruguay ratified the agreement Thursday comes despite strong opposition from key power France. The deal still needs a green light from lawmakers in the European Parliament, which referred it to the EU's top court within days of being inked in January. France has led opposition to the deal and unsuccessfully attempted to block it over worries for its farmers who fear being undercut by cheaper goods from Brazil and its neighbors. Negotiated over 25 years, Mercosur would create a free trade area spanning more than 700 million people between the EU and Latin America, including Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay and Uruguay. Seven irregular migrants from sub-Saharan Africa have been found dead on a beach east of Libya's capital, Tripoli. A Libyan Red Crescent worker told AFP on Sunday. Among them were 3 children, the worker said, adding that there were likely other dead migrants who have not yet been found. The Libyan Red Crescent did not provide details on the circumstances of their death. The organization said in a statement it recovered 7 bodies from a beach in Qasr al-Akhya belonging to irregular migrants. The bodies were found Saturday night in the coastal town some 73 kilometers east of Tripoli. Libya is a key transit country for thousands of migrants attempting to reach Europe each year, with deaths among migrants frequently reported. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi said on Friday she opposes changing the imperial family's male-only succession rules as pressure mounts on lawmakers to address the issue of the monarchy's survival. Only the male offspring of the male side of the family can currently ascend the ancient throne. Since Emperor Naruhito 66 only has 1 daughter, hopes for continuing the imperial family lie with Prince Hisahito, the teenage son of Crown Prince Akishino. Prime Minister Takaichi told Parliament on Friday that a panel of experts in 2021 found it appropriate to limit eligibility to those who are male descendants belonging to the imperial lineage, and she respected their conclusion. She previously warned that revising the imperial family's succession rules was an urgent matter, although this would likely involve adopting new members. Even though tradition dictates only a man can carry on the imperial line, which goes back 2,600 years according to legend, opinion polls have shown high public support for a woman taking the throne. Time now for Sports Update. Sankata Club of Nepal defeated Chitlang Football Club 4-0 in the Anfa National League 2082, Nepal's premier football league, at the Anfa complex in Sattabato, Lalitpur. Nigerian striker Richard Onyema starred for Sankata, scoring a hat-trick, 3 goals in the first half and 1 more in the second, completing his personal hat-trick in the 75th minute. This was the 8th encounter between the two clubs, with Sankata previously struggling in the league standings. With the win, Sankata moved up from 11th to 9th place, earning 3 points in the league table. Meanwhile, another league match is currently underway at the same venue between Laligras Association and Friends Club, 2 other top-tier Nepalese football teams. The 6th FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola has officially reached Brazil, where the iconic original trophy was unveiled by President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva during a special ceremony celebrating the country's deep connection with world football. The ceremony brought together emblematic figures of Brazilian soccer, both male and female. Brazil is among 30 FIFA member associations set to welcome the FIFA World Cup original trophy ahead of the historic 2026 tournament to be staged across Canada, Mexico and the United States. After getting underway in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on 3rd of January, the prestigious trophy has continued its global journey with late January and early February stops in Indonesia, Thailand, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, South Africa and Cote d'Ivoire, Morocco, Portugal, Spain, Algeria, France and Guatemala. Throughout the tour, the trophy has been accompanied by FIFA legends including Fabian Barthez, Roberto Carlos and Jurgen Klinsmann. The trophy tour, spanning 30 member associations, 75 stops and more than 150 days, is giving supporters around the world a once-in-a-lifetime chance to experience the magic of the FIFA World Cup before the first ball is kicked on 11th of June. We're at the end of our news bulletin, but before we wrap up, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nepal enters final stretch before crucial House of Representatives election. Election Commission advises on procedures and polling ahead of polls. Nepal's Home Minister assures fair and fear-free March 5 HOR election, urges voters to participate with confidence. Scrub typhus spreads rapidly in Nepal amid seasonal illnesses, health experts warn. Nepalese face long queues for cooking gas as elections spark panic buying and shortages. Pakistan-Afghanistan tensions erupt into an open war. Taliban attack Pakistani posts despite October's ceasefire. And Sankata Club of Nepal beats Chitlang FC 4-0 in Anfa National League. Nigerian striker Richard scores hat-trick. That is all for the moment here on Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and visit us at our official website www.nepaltelevision.com. I am Ipulagi Singh Lama. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu, Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Good evening and welcome to Business World Weekly. I am your host Siksha Bhatrai. It's been a week of major shifts in global trade, artificial intelligence, energy markets and strategic resources. From Washington to New Delhi and across Latin America, economic decisions are reshaping investment and markets. Here are the top global business stories this week. US President Donald Trump defended his economic record in his State of the Union address. This comes after the Supreme Court struck down tariffs central to his trade agenda. Markets are watching closely as questions rise over the future of US trade policy.
US President Donald Trump delivered the longest State of the Union address in US history Tuesday night, highlighting his economic record and foreign policy achievements as he seeks to energize Republican voters ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Trump touted stock market gains, tax cuts, and his trade policies, while framing Democrats as responsible for economic problems. He also addressed tensions with Iran and emphasized border security and immigration enforcement. His speech came days after the US Supreme Court struck down key tariffs central to his economic strategy and uncertainty over his authority over the Federal Reserve. The address marks Trump's first official State of the Union of his second term. Republicans applauded the speech as a rallying call, while Democrats criticized it for ignoring the struggles of everyday Americans, especially on affordability.
And that uncertainty is affecting key trading partners in Asia. India and the United States have deferred trade talks after the Supreme Court's ruling. An interim deal had reduced US tariffs on Indian goods, but negotiations are now on hold. The delay adds volatility to South Asian supply chains and global exports.
India and the US have deferred trade talks which were set to take place this week as they study the implications of the US Supreme Court striking down the Donald Trump administration's global tariffs. An Indian delegation was due to travel to Washington this week to finalize the terms of an interim trade deal which was announced earlier this month. The agreement reduced US tariffs on Indian goods from 50% to 18%, even though several aspects of it remained unclear. The Supreme Court ruling has led to new uncertainties as Trump said he would impose global tariffs of 15% on all goods coming into the US. The new developments come after a chaotic few months for Indian exporters who have been grappling with 50% tariffs imposed by Trump, which came into effect on 27th of August. The duties included a penalty for buying Russian oil, which Trump had long criticized.
And while trade talks stall, another story is reshaping the global economy: artificial intelligence. India hosted its first global AI summit, aiming to become a hub for AI infrastructure. Tech giants pledged billions in long-term investments during the event. The summit highlights India's growing role in the global AI economy.
As the first global AI meeting held in a developing country, the 5-day AI summit in India, which wraps up Friday, has also been a chance for India to boost its position in the booming sector. The nation expects more than $200 billion in investments over the next 2 years, and US tech titans have unveiled new deals, investments, and infrastructure for the South Asian country this week. In a major move, OpenAI and India IT giant Tata Consultancy Services announced a partnership to develop hyperscale AI data centers within the country. India's Reliance Group also announced a $110 billion investment over the next 7 years. Google on Wednesday had also opened up about its plans for subsea cables to support its existing $15 billion infrastructure investment in the region. Amidst this commercial surge, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for a $3 billion global fund support from the tech typhoons to ensure open access to fast advancing technology for all.
And speaking of AI, one company is setting new investment records. OpenAI plans to invest $600 billion on AI compute by 2030. The company is also preparing for a potential IPO that could value it near $1 trillion. The scale of investment shows how AI is shaping the future of global tech.
OpenAI is expanding its push into the enterprise market by teaming up with 4 of the world's largest consulting firms, betting that a more hands-on approach will help corporate clients move beyond pilot projects to full-scale AI deployments. The company said on Monday it had launched the so-called Frontier Alliance, a program built around its New Frontier platform and anchored by BCG, McKinsey, Accenture, and Capgemini. The initiative pairs OpenAI's forward-deployed engineers with consulting firms to help companies integrate AI agents into core business processes such as software development, sales, and customer support. While OpenAI has previously worked with consulting firms to sell its technology, Dresser said the new partnership is designed to help companies embed AI into core workflows rather than run isolated experiments.
Strategic resources are also making headlines this week. India and Brazil signed a new agreement on critical minerals and rare earth elements. The deal follows talks between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Brazilian President Lula. It aims to secure supply chains for renewable energy, EVs, and advanced technologies.
India and Brazil have agreed to expand cooperation on critical minerals and rare earth elements following talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in New Delhi. The agreement focuses on strengthening supply chains for minerals essential to renewable energy, electric vehicles, and advanced technology amid growing global competition for strategic resources. Lula's visit underscores Brazil's intention to expand economic ties with India and to position the bilateral relationship as a key pillar of South-South cooperation. Both Brazil and India are seeking to reduce dependence on limited global suppliers and to diversify partnerships amid growing geopolitical competition over strategic resources.
Meanwhile, conflict continues to impact markets in Europe. Sweden announced its 21st military aid package for Ukraine worth $1.4 billion. The funds will strengthen air defense and ammunition supplies. The ongoing war continues to influence global energy, fertilizer and grain prices.
Sweden has announced its 21st military aid package for Ukraine, valued at 12.9 billion kronor or $1.4 billion, which focuses primarily on air defense. Defense Minister Paul Johnson noted that this contribution aims to meet Ukraine's specific needs for ammunition and platform maintenance. A significant 4.3 billion kronor is dedicated to providing advanced short-range air defense. The remaining funds will cover long-range artillery shells, training, and a collaborative drone project, with delivery of the Tridon Mk2 mobile anti-aircraft artillery system expected within 24 months. This package is part of a larger 40 billion kronor annual budget, with more announcements planned for later this year.
Energy market reforms are also underway in South America. Venezuela launched a pilot program for premium gasoline at market-linked prices. The move follows political changes after the fall of Nicolas Maduro. Analysts say broader reforms could affect global crude supply.
Venezuela has launched a pilot program in Caracas, offering a new super premium gasoline priced at $1 per liter, double the rate of conventional fuel, according to industry sources and gas station employees. This rollout coincides with a broader opening of the oil sector following the fall of Nicolas Maduro and a subsequent U.S. military incursion in January. While the state-owned oil company PDVSA has not yet officially announced the super premium program, this high-quality fuel is currently available at 8 stations. Interim President Delcy Rodriguez is now shifting towards reforming the hydrocarbons law to attract private capital. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has indicated that he currently controls Venezuelan crude sales and is encouraging American oil companies to invest in the nation. The program marks a significant shift for a country that once provided the world's cheapest subsidized fuel, but has been plagued by years of chronic shortages.
But in some countries, traditional energy sources are expanding. Turkey is expanding the Afsin Elbistan coal power plant. This comes despite the country's 2053 net zero emissions goal. The move highlights tensions between energy security and climate commitments.
The Turkish government is moving forward with plans to expand the Afsin Elbistan power plant, one of the nation's largest thermal facilities, which currently generates 2,795 megawatts from highly polluting lignite coal. This expansion, which aims to add 2 new units to the privately run Plant A, comes as Turkey prepares to host the COP31 UN Climate Summit next November. Environmental groups and health experts have criticized the move, warning that the project contradicts Turkey's official 2053 net zero emissions target and could result in billions of dollars in health-related costs. Industry data suggests that despite improved filtration technology, the increased emissions of particulate matter and sulfur dioxide could lead to thousands of premature deaths, and the added units could surge the health cost to around $2.6 billion.
Social policy is also making headlines in Latin America. Colombia has approved a 23.7% increase in the 2026 minimum wage. It's the largest raise in 25 years of the Colombian history. Economists warn the hike could pressure inflation and public finances.
Colombia's President Gustavo Petro signed a historic decree increasing the country's 2026 minimum wage during a rally on Bolivar Square, Bogota. Petro called for marches in support of his government to back the vital minimum wage decree, which was provisionally suspended by the Council of State. He announced late December 2025 the country's minimum wage would increase by 23.7% starting in the new year, its highest raise in 25 years. The increase, coupled with the government's transportation subsidy, takes the monthly minimum wage from 1.6 million pesos or $422 to 2 million pesos or $520.
And finally, AI is moving from industry into everyday life. AI-powered companion robots are gaining popularity in China. These devices provide conversation, learning support, and emotional companionship. The trend shows AI is no longer just about factories, it's entering the home.
Companion robots, which are usually tiny and adorable AI-powered devices, are making their way into the mainstream in China. These smart devices are small in size, sometimes covered with fur, much like pets, and they can have conversations and provide emotional support. There are multiple robot consumer experience stores across Beijing, primarily focused on education and emotional companionship. Many parents say the devices can help them in answering some of their children's basic questions. The World Robotics 2025 report shows that China has been the world's largest industrial robot market for 11 straight years and now holds more than 190,000 valid robotics patents, nearly two-thirds of the global total.
From US trade uncertainty to trillion-dollar AI investments and energy reforms to mineral deals, this week shows how interconnected the global economy has become. Markets are sensitive to geopolitics, technology, and resource competition. Thanks for watching Business World Weekly, and we'll see you next week. During Lichevi period, Chango Narayan was also known as Dola Shikhar, which refers to a mount or hill in the shape of Doli.
Intermittent playing hide and seek with the folk, enchanting one's heart with the sight of fully bloomed rhododendrons, and rejoicing in the lap of nature with the chirping of the birds. When you set foot in Sandakpur, you experience a wonderful feeling of heavenly bliss right here on earth. Due to the ever-changing weather and the snow-white mountains visible right in front of your eyes, Sandakpur constantly draws everyone's heart towards it. As a habitat for numerous species of birds and endangered wildlife, Sandakpur always leaves an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of all. Situated at an altitude of 3,636 meters above the sea level, Sandakpur is located at Ward 2 and 4 of Sandakpur Rural Municipality in Nepal's eastern Ilam district. Embracing the mountains of Nepal, India and Bhutan, Sandakpur is the only place in South Asia where one can observe the Himalayas of all three countries. While enjoying the Himalayan settlements, one can observe the sunrise and sunset from Sandakpur. It is the only place in Nepal from where over 60 mountain peaks, including the Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, Makalu, Pathivara and Kumbhakarna can be seen from one spot. Being the source of the holy Mai River, one of the 4 major rivers in Ilam, Sandakpur is also revered from a religious standpoint, attracting pilgrims from Sandakpur Ridge The settlements of Ilam, Jhapa and West Bengal of India seem so close that it feels like you could hold them in the palm of your hand. The crimson glow of the sun rising from the Bay of Bengal in the morning, glittering upon the mountains. The joy of witnessing this form such a height is majestic. That is why in winter for the snow and during the monsoon for the rain, the number of visitors from both home and abroad to Sandakpur is on the rise. Among the different species of rhododendrons found in Nepal, 36 can be spotted just along the Sandakpur trek. The rhododendrons blooming all over the forest captivate every heart. With the chirping of birds, the cliffside honeybees, and the opportunity to study endangered species like the red panda, vultures, while enjoying nature, Sandakpur journey has captivated trekkers from around the world. Every year, more than 150,000 tourists from India, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Europe visit Sandakpur. Known as the Bird's Eye Place, Sandakpur was declared a one province, one cultural village by Nepal government in 2018. However, the place still awaits infrastructures like drinking water, electricity and proper trekking trails. Sandakpur can be reached after a 42-kilometer ride from the Ilam headquarters via Mai Pokhari and Kalu Pokhari. Another route to Sandakpur is from Ilam Bazar via Biblate, Sulubung, Mabu and Kalu Pokhari. When trekking to Sandakpur, the highest point of the Mahabharata range, the joy of staying in the homestays and hotels along the way while savoring local cuisine is immeasurable. While forging a connection with the Himalayan settlements, enjoying herbs and local produce, and playing in the snow in winter and the rain during the monsoon, you must visit Sandakpur at least once in your life.
Welcome to NTV World Insight. Around 2.3 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer in the year 2022, and nearly 670,000 lost their lives to it. Breast cancer remains the most common cancer in women in almost every country across the globe. While much rarer, it is also important to note that men can also develop breast cancer, accounting for roughly 1% of all cases worldwide. The good news is that more people are surviving breast cancer today than ever before. In countries with strong screening and early detection programs, over 90% of early-stage cases can be treated successfully. But there's still a big gap. In many lower-income regions, breast cancer is often found late, and that makes all the difference. If nothing changes, the World Health Organization has projected that by the year 2050, new breast cancer cases could rise to 3.2 million each year. That is a strong reminder of how crucial awareness, access to screening and timely treatment are, not just for women, but for everyone. We are pleased to welcome Dr. Banira Karki to today's NTV World Insight. She is the first female breast oncosurgeon in Nepal with over 10 years of experience in the field of surgery, her special focus being breast conserving and reconstructive procedures. Dr. Karki, welcome to our show.
Thank you for your invitation.
Let's start with the basic. Let's do it quick, but let's delve into what cancer is and how breast cancer is different.
If we talk about breast cancer, the cancer basically it starts from the ducts. It's basically the milk ducts. So there are these cells which the number of cells when it starts proliferating and then it grows very uncontrollably. So that now it forms a lump, and then when there is a lump, it starts invading the outer tissues as well. So that is when a lump is felt in the breast. So this is how cancer is detected. The next thing is, yes, how it is different. I would say breast cancer is mostly related to the, as I said, ducts, lobules, and it is and it occupies the breast, and then slowly it also invades into the lymphatic channels, through which it may be palpable in your axillary nodes, okay, and sometimes also into the cervical nodes.
Mm-hmm. Throughout the years in your experience, what are the different kinds of cases that you've come across? Is it different across age groups or even gender?
Yeah.
As I earlier also mentioned that even men can have breast cancers. So what are the different cases that you have witnessed?
So there's a lot of variation in breast cancer. It's all breast cancers are not same. They are quite different, and they present in a very different way in every individual. And when we come to the age groups, I've seen in as early in 15 years old young girl with breast cancer, and it was a very rapid growing, fast growing breast cancers. And we've noted that when coming to breast cancers, when it is present in young patients, it's a very progressive and aggressive type of breast cancers, which grows rapidly and it also spreads quickly. And when coming to older ages, the later age I have encountered is 85 years old women. And the type of cancers every one of us have come across in old lady is basically a very small type of lesions, and these are very slow growing type of tumors. And moreover, the most common type of cancers we come across is between now in my practice is late 30s to late 40s.
Mm-hmm. Talking about our statistics that we have, the latest that we have is of 2022, and that's by World Health Organization. 670,000 lost their lives in that year. It's a very jarring number. What has the trend been like overall?
If we talk about breast cancer cases, the number of new cases every year, it's increasing. As you also said, by 2050, there's going to be a global rise, and it was also expected that by 2040, it's going to be rise by 2.5 million new cases. So similarly, when we talk about the death rate in the developed countries have declined compared to previous. But then the death rate in a country like ours, in the underdeveloped countries, the death rates have still not fallen down. So this is the difference that we are facing. The number of new cases are increasing worldwide, but the number of death rates are still, we are still facing those kind of cases in our practice.
Mm-hmm. So 3.2 million, that is if we do not have early screenings or if we do not probably adopt a healthier lifestyle, I guess, right?
True, yeah. Early detection actually helps us cure the disease. Mm-hmm. It also has a better prognosis, and we could give a very good treatment, near to curable treatment. Mm-hmm. Almost 98% of breast cancers are curable when they are diagnosed in the first stage, right? So around 90% at least we can treat completely if they come to us with the second stage breast cancers. Mm-hmm. But as the stage increases, if it's an advanced breast cancer, then the prognosis will be comparatively little worse. Mm-hmm. So early detection saves life, again I would like to say, so for that screening is very, very important.
Mm-hmm. There's also a lot of worry, fear, skepticism as well for people to go and get themselves checked.
Yeah.
How do we encourage people to get it done?
First thing I would like to tell everyone that all kinds of lumps we come across in our breast is not cancerous. It's only 20 to 30% of the lumps that we have in our breast are cancerous, whereas the remaining 70 to 80% of the lumps are non-cancerous. So we need not be scared, first thing, because the patients, they come to us, they're very anxious. I felt this and I haven't slept entire night, and they come crying, now I got the cancer. But it's not that in every individual. So yes, awareness is very important. You should be aware, and if you feel anything, then you should come timely.
With awareness, there's also a question about accessibility. How have you viewed the issue of accessibility in Nepal?
Yeah, in Nepal, now things are quite available, I would say. First thing is expertise, which we lacked in our past years. Now we have breast cancer surgeons in Nepal as well, who would actually deal with only breast-related diseases. So that is important. Whom do you confront to? Next thing is the type of investigations which we do it in developed countries. We do have everything available in Nepal as well. And coming to even remote areas, we could at least do the basic ultrasound, for the detection of breast cancer, even if we don't have the higher imaging techniques. So that so with that only, at least we could detect cancers.
You've had more than 10 years of experience in the field. How has our technology advanced over the course of time?
Yes, over the period of time, technology has advanced, and talking about our field, there are very few tests that are actually required in breast cancer, the entire treatment. So the basic ultrasound, we already had it, and mammography, also we had it from past many years. Then third thing is for the metastatic workup, we would say, that is to see the spread of the disease to the entire body parts. We had CT scan, but now we also have PET CT scan, which is the recommended standard investigation for the metastatic workup. So we do have all the investigation facility in Nepal now.
What are some of the most common misconceptions about breast cancer? Are there misunderstandings? Are people not understanding what it actually is?
There are actually so many myths about breast cancer, I would say. Many people still up till now the gold standard investigation is mammography, right? It's a kind of an X-ray which we do to detect the breast cancers. So many people have this concept that if we do a mammography, then because of the radiations you'll get cancers. Which is not so true, I would say, because the type of the amount of radiations which is given in this mammography is very less. It is very less, so you can safely do it every year. So many people, they do avoid doing mammography because of this fear, because of the radiations, but the radiation dose is very low, so you can safely do it.
What, apart from early detection or getting yourself checked in periodic basis, can one do in order to avoid breast cancer?
So yes, in order to avoid breast cancer, first thing is every individual should have awareness. Next thing is they should know about their breast. Self-breast examination is very important. I would advise every woman to do a breast self-examination once a month. So at least this is not just that you'll be able to find a cancer, but it's just to know yourself, know your body so well, so that if there is any changes, then you will come to know. If you examine your breast every month, once a month, and if there is certain new changes that you've noticed, maybe there are certain skin changes, maybe there are certain discharges, or maybe there is disparity in your size, or there is some dimpling in the skins, very small little things. If you notice anything, then if anything is evident, then you should come up with that. So for that, I think I would suggest everyone should do a self-breast examination.
So any changes at an alarming level warrants a checkup?
Yeah. Any age and any type of changes you note in the breast.
What cures are available to us at the moment?
Talking about breast cancer, the first most I would say is surgery. Okay, so surgery, we have options. Long time back, there were no much options. So the only thing was, mastectomy, that is getting your entire breast removed, and also removing all your nodes. Okay, which would definitely give some form of morbidity, like people might have some kind of swellings in their arms, the post-operative complications. But now things have changed. So we have, in the surgical field, we have moved towards conserving the breast. So breast conserving surgery is what we are doing today, and also regarding the axilla, we are not doing the massive nodal dissection nowadays. We've come across to only selective nodal dissection, okay, like which we call it a sentinel lymph node biopsy in selective cases, so that we could avoid those morbidity in patients. And besides that, yes, we have all the facility of chemotherapy. All the drugs are available in Nepal as well. Following that, radiotherapy, that is, you give radiations to the affected breast, to the chest wall, and to the axilla as well. So, and fourth thing is the hormonal therapy. So some people, depending upon their tumor, their cancer types, they might need hormonal therapy, so which we give it for 5 to 10 years maybe, depending on the patient.
How do you decide which treatment to give to whom? What are the stages or types that categorizes these treatments? So
see, actually, for every patient, we have a tumor board meeting. It's not that one individual decides the treatment for that patient. When we have all the reports, all the investigations, once the patient is diagnosed with a breast cancer, so there is a team that sits, and then we decide what would be best for this individual. And that we decide based on the size of the tumor, okay, location of the tumor, and we also decide upon the number of nodes involved or it's not involved, okay, whether there is spread to the other parts of the body. So depending on all these and the staging, which stage the patient presented to us. And another most important is the type of tumor patient has, because some types of breast cancers, they are very aggressive. Okay, they spread very quickly via blood and they go to the different parts. So those type of cancers we initially treat with chemotherapy. And sometimes patients, they present with a very large size tumor. So in those patients, we do not directly go for surgery. So those patients, we try to, stage down. If the patient is in third stage, then we try to first give the chemotherapy. Our priority would be that the tumor should not spread to other parts of the body. So we downstage the tumor. If it is in stage 3, then we try to get it to stage 2 or 1, okay? And then only we go for surgery. So by that time, the tumor will also shrink. And we also stop the process of the spread to the other parts of the body, and that's how we treat the patient. And in those patients also, yes, we can give the options of breast conserving therapy, because once the tumor has shrunk, so it's easy for us to preserve the breast.
How does this breast conserving surgery and the procedure look like?
So breast conserving surgery is like, it's basically we remove that tumor, but along with that tumor, we also remove a small amount of tissue around it. Okay, so that we do not touch the tumor, just the surrounding tissue. We remove the entire tumor along with the surrounding extra normal tissues. Okay, so after that tissue is removed, then there is definitely a defect. So for that defect, we do some oncoplasty techniques so that we could give them a good cosmetic outcome. We do certain procedures. There are various procedures which we perform, level 1, level 2 oncoplasty. So depending on the patient's need, and then that is how we reconstruct the breast. But in some patients, we cannot preserve their breast. Okay, like it's not an oncoplasty. But then those patients in whom we have to remove the entire breast, for them we need a massive reconstruction. In those patients, we create a new breast. So that maybe you can put an implant, okay, or you can use the body parts from the same patient, sometimes from the tummy fat or the fat from the backside and the muscles, and then you can just put it up then and give it a shape. So that is just for the cosmesis.
Do a remarkable number of patients prefer to do that?
Very less in Nepal, very less, I would say.
What's the reason?
Because of the cost issues. Because for those reconstructions, we also take help from the plastic surgeons as well. and because of the cost issues, many of them, they avoid this type of reconstruction. But moreover, we are doing, as I said earlier, the simple oncoplasty. With that, we are being able to give a good cost message to our patients.
There are also concerns that we have a lot of cosmetic procedures being done at this day and age. Do these procedures or the materials that are being used to enhance one's beauty, do they affect or trigger a situation like this?
No, not actually. Because when we are doing, there are patients, they come with a very big sized breast. So for them, sometimes it's very difficult because of the size of the breast, they have this back problems. So they come for breast reduction, in which we do a reduction mammoplasty, which we call, in which we reduce the breast and bring it to a smaller size, so that it's very compatible for the patient. With that, we are just removing a certain glands, certain part of the tissue. So the rest of the breast tissue will be preserved. So that does not make much difference. And besides the other types of reconstruction, when we do, if in case the patient has a very smaller breast, or we are getting a part of tissue from the other side and then making a breast, that does not add to cancer.
This is for the cases where people are doing it for enhancements.
Yes, for enhancement and also for reduction.
But you're talking about enhancement by using tissue from other parts of the body. What about foreign materials that people tend to use?
Foreign materials, people are generally using silicone implants. Besides that, nowadays fat grafting is also being very commonly done. So you remove fat from your the tummy fat, mostly, sometimes from the thighs, and then you can just put it into the breast, so that you fill the breast with the fat, and then you can give it a shape.
So there's no concerns regarding?
No, there is no concerns, or there is no issues with it, like it in future it may lead to breast cancer. There is no such issues with it.
Many women, lactating mothers in fact, these days, out of lifestyle obligations, let's say, or for various reasons, are opting out of breastfeeding. Is there any correlation between breastfeeding and breast cancer?
Yes. Two things I would like to say. One about pregnancy and also breastfeeding. I would like to add pregnancy to this as well. Because the number of kids nowadays that people are conceiving is very less. They are moving to 2 or 1 these days. So pregnancy is actually a protective for breast cancer, because that time, then that 9 months, the hormone exposure, estrogen hormone exposure, is very less in your body. So that's why the breast cancer rate decreases with the number of child you've conceived. Okay, with the increasing number of child, the rate decreases for the breast cancer. And it's similar with the breastfeeding. Again, breastfeeding is a protective mechanism. So it's protective for breast cancer and as well for cervical cancer as well. So that's why we advise to at least exclusively breastfeed for 6 months. And up to 2 months, 2 years, WHO recommends to breastfeed. And this also, it's not only beneficial for the child, but also for the mother.
What about women who don't have children?
Yes,
are they more prone to having breast cancer?
Yes, yes. Patients who are unmarried or who does not have child, who has not breastfeed, they are all compared to other population, they are comparatively at a higher risk to have a breast cancer, slightly higher, I would say.
Are there any ways to make up or compensate for it?
I would say get married on time and get your kids on time, and obviously breastfeed.
When you said get married on time, is there a number to it?
Yes, married on time, I would say actually you have to it's better always to have your first kid before the age of 31 years.
As you also mentioned that we do have expertise in our own country, but many people are also preferring to take treatments elsewhere. Is there a reason behind it?
Yes, I would. To this, I would say actually a long time back there were no expertise available in Nepal. So from there a trend started. People started going to India, moreover, for cancer treatment, because they have very good institutes and they have proper cancer centers. In Nepal, we did not have that well set up cancer centers. But now we do have good cancer centers and also expertise as well. But still people, moreover, I see patients, we counsel, and then, some third party, they go home, discuss, and then one says, no, let's go to India. It's we have all treatments there. So that's how patients are flying to India. But then I would like to make or reassure everyone that now expertise are available and also all the technologies are available. So you can trustably get treated in Nepal as well, because it's not a matter of one day. It's a matter of a lifetime. So every time you have to fly for follow-up. Okay, so that's also financial issues will also be there regarding it. And if you are having the same level of treatment, you're getting it in your country, why do you prefer to, fly outside?
Say a patient gets treated and cured, what are the chances of recurrence?
Again, it all depends on the stage of the patient, the stage of the patient presented. And also, it also depends upon the type of tumor. There are certain type of tumor, like we say it, triple negative breast cancers, HER2 positive breast cancers. Those type of cancers are a little aggressive, and the chances of recurrence is comparatively higher in those patients. So we advise them for a very strict follow-up. But if it is a hormone positive breast cancer, then those patients, when treated in early stage, the chances of recurrence is very less. But yes, with cancers, they are always possible that you might you are always at a high risk if it is a cancer patient, especially in context to that you might get cancers on the other side of the breast, maybe 5 to 10 years down the lane. So that's why a regular follow-up is very much mandatory.
In case of men, what does breast cancer look like? Is there a specific type of region or lifestyle, age group that makes men more prone to breast cancer?
If you look into the ratio of male breast cancers, then it's very less. It's just about 1% of the entire breast cancers. The presentation in male breast cancers is almost similar as that of the female. They also present with a small lump, or sometimes it looks like some small skin lesions, or sometimes they also present with some watery or blood discharge from the small nipple they have. So the presentation would almost be similar. Okay, but then if I also talk about the treatment, then that would also be similar to that of the females that we offer. And regarding the age group, breast cancers in male is seen mostly after the age of 60 years. 60 to 65 years later only. It's not commonly seen in the younger age group in male.
What does life for a patient during treatment and after treatment look like?
When a patient is diagnosed with cancer, and when we explain about the entire treatment course, patient is emotionally very much drained out, because it's a very long course of treatment, and next thing is they are very uncertain whether I will survive, I will not. So there is this emotional breakdown what we have seen in the patient, and moreover they are more concerned with chemotherapy. With chemotherapy, chemotherapy is it's a drug which we give to these cancer patients. So there are many side effects of chemotherapy. So there is this hair fall with it, and you feel very weak, agitated, and you don't feel like going out. You feel so little, in society. You're not being able to move out so freely, and your body is very weak, and you have that fear that you might, not survive. So that is the major issues patients they have. And your appearance looks completely different. So dealing with all these things, and again fighting back with cancer, and thinking about your family and your further future. So patients are very much affected. They are psychologically also stressed out. So this is during this course of treatment, we find that these patients, they need much of the support from the family, and obviously from the doctors as well, but moreover sometimes also from the society. There are certain social groups who help them with it. And after the course of treatment, I have seen most of the patients, they come out very strong, very brave, because they have conquered this battle. and they come out very fearless because they now have a new face. Post cancer, you know, there is also this hair growth, and the type of hair that comes out is, you know, little thick, curly. It gives them a new face and a new look. They come out completely different, and I've seen them come out very brave, and now they are ready to, you know, start a new life, and now they have overcome their fear. So this is the difference I have noted in patients who are undergoing treatment and who have completed their treatment.
That sounds very encouraging.
Yep.
What about women who are going through menopause? Is there a certain connection with it?
Yes, the patients who are going through menopause, because there are so much of hormonal disturbances, hormone imbalance during that phase. You're not having your periods, you know, at a regular time. So what happens sometimes? Sometimes it's 6 months, 8 months, you know. So you are at the perimenopausal phase towards your menopause. So those type of patients are also likely to have breast cancers. That's what we have seen. And besides, they also have so much of mood swings, irritability. So that's what has been noted in these type of patients.
Dr. Banira Karki, thank you so much for being on NTV World Insight, for all your contributions and also your insights.
Thank you so much.
And that said, it goes without saying that early detection, good lifestyle can help us deal well with breast cancer, help us avoid breast cancer, and also get timely treatment. Thank you so much for staying with us in this program. Do join us on our social media pages, YouTube, and also visit our website www.nepaltelevision.com for more information, news, and updates. That's it from me for now. Thank you for staying.
We have prepared a comprehensive security plan, which is named as Integrated Security Plan for Election. So this security plan has mentioned how to ensure the election security from the very beginning to the end of all these processes. The security plan itself is very clear. At the first layer, there is Nepal Police and the Election Police, the combined. Then in the next layer, there will be APF, Armed Police Force, and in the third layer, there will be Nepal Army. And the vital installations during the election period will be protected by Nepal Army. And those who are deployed in the vital installations, they will be deployed in the election. So this is the basic framework how the security forces are used in the election. Yeah, it is up to the Election Commission and Home Ministry. We both jointly complement to each other. Those ballot papers are transported to the district headquarters by the Nepal Army. Then from there to the polling station and the office of the election officer, then district level security arrangement will be responsible. And after the polling is over, then the ballot papers will be returned to the district headquarters, either or at the election officer's office. We have already instructed our security agencies that whenever the situation we have to make sure that the situation will be not escalated, it will be prevented. So we'll be working out on the preventive phase. The priority is preventive phase. And if situation goes beyond this and it goes to controlling phase, then at that time as well, the use of force, the rules and directives regarding use of force and rule of engagement should be properly followed. And minimum use of force can be allowed, but excessive use of force is not allowed. The option could be in some situations to halt the election process there, and repolling will be arranged again. So election commission, it is ultimately up to the election commission who can halt the polling there and arrange repolling. Whoever is liable for this derailment of the election process will be investigated, prosecuted, and subjected to proper penalty as well this time.
Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are two popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli river is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days.
Pashupatinath is located in the eastern part of Kantipur city, approximately 5 kilometers away from Bagmati River. During the Lichavi period, the area surrounding Pashupatinath was known for animal rearing. This region includes Duasthali, Guveshwari, Gaurighat, Chaba Hill, Ganeshtan, and Kutuwali, all of which are part of the Pashupatinath area. In 1979 AD, UNESCO designated Pashupatinath as a World Heritage Site. The blessings of Pashupatinath have been revered since ancient times, indicating the site's significance long before the Lichavi dynasty. The presence of Jyotirlinga, a sacred representation of Lord Shiva, is mentioned in one of the ancient texts, highlighting its historical and religious importance.
पशुपतिनाथको चाहिँ प्रादुर्भाव पहिला यहाँ चाहिँ एउटा ठुलो ढिस्को भएको, त्यो ढिस्कोभित्र चाहिँ गरिरहेको होइन। अब त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा कृतिपुरतिरको गोपालको गाई चर्न आउँदै रहेछन्। त्यो चर्न आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ नि उनले त्यो दुध त्यहाँ आफै स्वतस्फूर्त रूपबाट बगाउँदै रहेछन्। त्यो जुन दुध बगाउँथ्यो त्यो बनेको ठाउँमा के हो भनेर हेर्दाखेरि पछि खनेर हेर्दा त्यहाँ चाहिँ भगवान शिवको ज्योतिर्लिङ्ग उत्पत्ति भएको कुराहरू हाम्रो वंशावलीहरूमा पाइन्छ। तर भगवान पशुपतिनाथ मुनिको अनादिदेखि नै उहाँ चाहिँ वैदिक कालदेखि नै, किनभने वेदमा जताततै भगवान पशुपतिनाथको चाहिँ वर्णन पाइन्छ, उहाँको चाहिँ स्तुति गान गरिएको पाइन्छ। र फेरि हाम्रो शास्त्रले भगवान पशुपतिनाथलाई चाहिँ यो सृष्टिको केन्द्रबिन्दुमा राखेको छ। यो सृष्टि जसले गरे, हुन त चाहिँ ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वर हामी तीन देवता त्रिदेव भनेर मान्छौँ। ब्रह्माले यसको सृष्टि गर्नुभयो, त्यस्तै चाहिँ भगवान विष्णुले पालन गर्नुभएको छ। त्यसपछि यसको संहार गर्ने चाहिँ को त भन्दा भगवान पशुपतिनाथ शिव।
दर्शन गर्ने परिक्रमा गर्ने विधि छ। बाहिरी परिक्रमा गर्दाखेरि गौरी घाट गएर पहिला गौरी घाटमा स्नान गर्ने, त्यसपछि माथि उठेर किरातेश्वरको दर्शन गर्ने, किरातेश्वरबाट तल ओर्लेपछि किरातेश्वरको त्यो भर्याङ ओर्लिसकेपछि गुहेश्वरी नपुग्दाखेरि दायाँ बायाँ जति पनि शिवालयहरू छ त्यो शिवालयको दर्शन गर्दै जाने। अनि गुहेश्वरीको ढोका बाहिर पनि त्यहाँ चाहिँ बागमतीको किनारमा पनि विभिन्न किसिमका मूर्तिहरू छन्, देवी देवताका मन्दिरहरू छन्, त्यो दर्शन गरेर गुहेश्वरी गएर गुहेश्वरीको बाहिरपट्टि चाहिँ शिवलिङ्ग भयो, गुहेश्वरीको भित्र पीठ सबै दर्शन गरिसकेपछि अनि भर्याङ उक्लेर माथिपट्टि हामी गोरखनाथ पुग्छौँ। गोरखनाथको दर्शन गर्ने, गोरखनाथको अगाडि मनोकामना माईको मन्दिर छ, त्यहाँको दर्शन गर्ने। त्यसपछि अझै अगाडि गएपछि मृगस्थलीको माथि विश्वरूपाको मन्दिर छ, जसलाई जङ्गबहादुरले निर्माण गरेका थियो। त्यो एउटा अचम्मको मन्दिर छ। कामेश्वरीको शिवजीको विशाल तान्त्रिक विधिले पूजा गर्ने, यन्त्रमा उपासना गरिने ठुलो मन्दिर छ। अहिले भुइँचालोपछि त्यो अलिकति अव्यवस्थित रूपमा छ र त्यसको निर्माण कार्य हुँदैछ, त्यहाँ दर्शन गर्ने। त्यसपछि हामी तल भर्याङ ओर्लिन्छौँ अब बागमती जानको लागि, पशुपति तेह्रमा लाग्नको लागि। त्यो गरिसकेपछि राम मन्दिर दर्शन गर्ने र राम मन्दिर दर्शन गरिसकेपछि खोलाको किनारै नियमले के भन्छ भन्दा त्यहाँ तीरगङ्गामा गएर त्यो भगवान चाहिँ विष्णु विक्रान्तको दर्शन गर्ने। त्यसपछि फेरि गएर पारिपट्टि गएर वज्रेश्वरी, पशुपतिनाथलाई 9वटा देवीहरूले घेरेर बसेको मध्ये त्यहाँ वज्रेश्वरीको मन्दिर छ, पिङ्गलेश्वरी पनि भनिन्छ, त्यहाँ दर्शन गर्ने। अनि बागमती पारि आएर राजराजेश्वरीको दर्शन गर्ने। अनि फर्केर चाहिँ आर्यघाट आउँछ। आर्यघाट लिएर आइसकेपछि मङ्गला गौरीको दर्शन गर्ने, वत्सलेश्वरी सबै शक्तिपीठ। भगवान शिवजीले पनि के भन्छ, पहिला सबै शक्तिपीठहरूको दर्शन गरेर मात्रै म कहाँ आउनु भन्नुभएको छ। त्यसपछि वत्सला देवीको दर्शन गर्ने। अनि त्यसपछि बागमतीको तल किनार ओर्लेर बागमती पशुपतिनाथलाई चढाइएको जुन जल छ, पञ्चामृत जल छ, तल चाहिँ तारकेश्वर भने ठ्याक्क लिएर 64 सबै शिवलिङ्गको दर्शन गरेर दक्षिण ढोकाबाट प्रवेश, पशुपतिनाथको दक्षिण ढोकाबाट प्रवेश गरेर दर्शन गर्नु भन्ने चाहिँ उल्लेख छ। र अब अहिले कुरा आउँछ, अहिले पनि भनेको थिएँ दक्षिणपट्टि पशुपतिनाथको दर्शन गर्न आउँदा कीर्तिमुख भैरवको चाहिँ पहिला दर्शन गरेर म कहाँ आउनु भन्नुभएकै छ हैन।
In the Gopal Raj dynasty, King Supuspadev described Pashupatinath as Varna Vyavastha. Following Supuspadev, every subsequent king incorporated the name of Pashupatinath within their own names. King Vaskardev offered 3 kosh to Pashupatinath, Brishdev presented a Trishul, Dharmadev contributed a Brishjos, and Narendradev offered various kosh made from different materials. Finally, Jayadev offered a lotus to Pashupatinath.
अहिले हामीले पूजा गर्ने शिवलिङ्ग भनेको चाहिँ 14औं शताब्दीको त्यो भित्रको चाहिँ, तर पशुपति क्षेत्र मन्दिर भित्र त्यो भन्दा पुराना अरु मन्दिर मूर्तिहरू पनि छन्, अन्य शिवलिङ्गहरू पनि छन्, जसमध्ये यो पशुपतिको मन्दिर भित्रै परिसर भित्रै एउटा एकदम पुरानो मन्दिर र जसमा भएका मूर्तिहरू पनि एकदम राम्रो मूर्तिहरू छन्, जसमध्ये त्यसमा के छ भने ब्रह्माको मन्दिर भन्छौँ हामी। अब ब्रह्मा चाहिँ नि सनातन धर्मावलम्बीहरूले जब त्रिदेवको पूजा गर्न थाले, ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वर भन्ने 3टा देवताको पूजा गर्न थाले, त्यसमा ब्रह्मा सृष्टिकर्ता भए, विष्णु पालनकर्ता भए र शिव संहारकर्ता भए। यो तीनटै देवताको पूजा हुने क्रममा विष्णु र शिव चाहिँ निको एकदमै व्यापक भयो पूजा। तर ब्रह्माको विभिन्न पुराणहरूमा विभिन्न कथाहरू छन्, ब्रह्माको पूजा नगर्ने चलन छ। यो पशुपतिभित्र ब्रह्माको मन्दिर भने हामी पश्चिम ढोकाबाट पसेपछि देब्रेपट्टि पर्छ यो मन्दिर जुन शिखर शैलीमा बनेको छ। यसमा चाहिँ यो मन्दिरको बाहिरपट्टि थुप्रै पुराना मूर्तिहरू छन्। शिखर शैलीमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने गर्भगृहमा मात्रै मूर्ति स्थापना गरिँदैन, मन्दिरको बाहिर पनि मूर्ति स्थापना गरिन्छ।
During the Malla dynasty, the offerings made by the kings to Pashupatinath can still be seen today. Among these offerings, Lord Shiva at Pashupatinath received a copper roof and chhadi and kamal. Finally, King Jai Singh presented a gold-made mekhla and a grand jatra was conducted.
हामीले प्राचीन कलाकृतिको कुरा गर्यौं भने लिच्छवी काल अथवा लिच्छवी कालभन्दा अघिको हामीसँग ढुङ्गाका मूर्ति मात्रै छन्। काठको किन भएन त भन्दाखेरि कसको आयु कति हो? ढुङ्गाको चाहिँ नि लामो आयु हुने भयो, तर काठ चाहिँ नि छिटो बिग्रिने हुनाले काठका मूर्तिहरू चाहिँ हामीले लिच्छवी कालको पाउँदैनौँ। अन्तिम लिच्छवी कालको भनेको के छन्? तर अहिले हामी उभिएर हामीले काठमाडौँमा हेर्यौं भने हामीले देख्ने जति पनि मन्दिरहरू छ, हामीले देख्ने जति पनि विहारहरू छ, जति पनि दरबारहरू छ, पार्टीहरू छ, त्यहाँ प्रयोग गरेका सबै काठका कलाकृतिहरू कुनै पनि हामीसँग लिच्छवी कालको छैन। त्यो सबै मल्लकालको पनि अन्तिम मल्लकालका केही पुराना मल्लकालका एक दुईवटा छन्, किनभने काठ लामो समयसम्म बस्दैन।
पशुपति क्षेत्र नेपालको एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण सम्पदा क्षेत्र हो, जुन चाहिँ विश्व सम्पदामा पनि सूचीकृत छन्। र यो विश्व सम्पदामा सूचीकृत हुनुको विशेष कारणहरूमध्ये चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ त्यहाँको पुरातात्विक संरचना नै हुन्। त्यहाँ हामीले किराँत कालदेखि भनिएका हामीसँग धेरै मूर्तिहरू छन् र अभिलेखीय सम्पदाहरू हेर्ने हो भने 381 देखिको हामीसँग अभिलेखहरू नै छन्। र त्यहाँ रहेका विशिष्ट विभिन्न प्रकारका विभिन्न फेजका विभिन्न कालका सम्पदाहरू अहिले त्यहाँ सुरक्षित अवस्थामा रहेको छ भने त्यहाँ मूर्त र अमूर्त सम्पदाहरू पनि धेरै अगाडिदेखिका मूर्त र अमूर्त सम्पदाहरू अहिलेसम्म पनि कन्टिन्यू नै छ। त्यसमा अब हामीले त्यहाँको पूजादेखि लिएर त्यहाँको जात्रा पर्वहरू धेरै प्राचीन कालका पूजाहरू अहिले पनि कन्टिन्यूमा आएको छ भने विभिन्न समयमा चाहिँ लिच्छवी कालदेखि मल्लकाल, शाहकाल, राणा पिरियड भएकी सबै काललाई समेट्ने खालको त्यहाँ सम्पदाहरू त्यहाँ रहेको छ। त्यो हिसाबले पनि यो एउटा नेपालकै विभिन्न फेजलाई प्रतिनिधित्व गर्ने र मात्र काठमाडौँको होइन कि देशभरिबाट नै यो सम्पदा यो पशुपतिको त्यहाँ आदरको रूपमा आउने भिजिट गर्ने ठाउँ भएको कारणले यो सांस्कृतिक रूपमा, पुरातात्विक रूपमा र ऐतिहासिक रूपमा पनि अत्यन्त महत्त्वपूर्ण स्थलहरूको रूपमा रहेको छ। त्यसैले आधार लिएर हामीले विश्व सम्पदामा सूचीकृत गरेका थियौँ। काठमाडौँ उपत्यकाका 7वटा मोनुमेन्ट जोनमध्ये यो पनि एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण साइटको रूपमा हामी लिन सकिन्छ।
In 1473 BS, Jyoti Malla renovated Pashupatinath. The priest Nityananda initiated the removal of the 3-story structure of Pashupatinath and reduced it to a single story. Queen Ganga, the consort of Shiva Singh, had the Bhasa Bamsawali written, which is still present today.
सेट र राजभण्डारीहरू मिलेर काँचो धागो कपडा किनेर लिएर आएर त्यो पशुपतिनाथको त्यसरी बागमतीमा गएर त्यसलाई शुद्धि गरेर सुकाएर आफै बुन्नुपर्छ, कसैले छुन पाइँदैन। उहाँहरू बसेर पशुपतिनाथ शङ्कराचार्यको मठ मुनि पान छ, कति दिन अगाडिदेखिको उहाँहरूले चोखो बसेर पूजा उपासना गरेर पशुपतिनाथ भित्र लिएर गएर त्यो पवित्र आरोहण चढाउने भन्ने चलन छ। अब त्यो किन गरिएको त भन्दा यो चाहिँ नि जनै पूर्णिमाको अघिल्लो दिन भगवान पशुपतिनाथ चाहिँ त्यो दिन पशुपतिनाथ छोडेर गोसाइँकुण्ड जानुहुन्छ। अघिल्लो दिन जनै पूर्णिमाको अघिल्लो दिन गोसाइँकुण्ड जानुहुन्छ। अब गोसाइँकुण्ड भनेको त हिमाली क्षेत्रमा पर्ने जाडो हुन्छ, भगवान पशुपतिनाथमा जाडो हुन्छ भने त्यो लुगा पहिराएको। त्यसरी चाहिँ त्यहाँ गर्ने र अनि सर्वसाधारणलाई पनि बाँड्नको निम्ति पटुका के अरे त्यसलाई पुका भनिन्छ, जनै जस्तो बनाएर अनि भगवान पशुपतिनाथलाई अर्पण गरिसकेपछि त्यसको प्रसादको रूपमा सर्वसाधारणलाई पनि बाँड्ने। बलम्बुमा एउटा नारायणको मन्दिर छ। त्यो बलम्बुको नारायणको मन्दिरमा पूजा गरिसकेर बाँकी रहेको पैसाले पशुपतिनाथमा शोभन जात्रा गर्नु, पशुपतिनाथलाई छाता चढाएर शोभन जात्रा गर्नु भनेर चाहिँ बलम्बुको अभिलेखमा उल्लेख छ। त्यस्तै एउटा अर्को चाहिँ पशुपतिनाथ र चाबेलको बिहार हेर्नुहोस् त, शिव मन्दिर र बिहारको कम्युनिकेसन दुईजनाको समन्वय भएको एउटा नागचा प्याखा भन्ने चाहिँ एउटा नाच छ। त्यसमा चाहिँ नाच नचाउने काम, नाचको ट्रेनिङ दिने, त्यो नाच्नेहरू चाहिँ बिहारले उपलब्ध गराउने, गहनाहरू सबै त्यो जुन महादेव र पार्वती बनेर नाचिने हो, महादेव र पार्वती बन्नलाई जसले गहना लगाउने त्यो गहना लगाउन दिने चाहिँ नि जयवाश्वरी भण्डार तहबिलले दिने, बिहारबाट चाबेलको बिहारबाट नचाउँदै पशुपतिनाथ क्षेत्रमा ल्याउने। यो धेरै वर्षसम्म रोकिएको थियो, तर एउटा राम्रो पक्ष भनौँ फेरि त्यसलाई अहिले जगाइएको छ, फेरि निरन्तरता पाएको छ।
सबभन्दा पुरानो मूर्ति आजसम्म मानिएको अभिलेख भएको मूर्ति चाहिँ नि जसलाई हामी तिलगङ्गा भन्छौँ, तिलगङ्गामा भएको त्रिविक्रम वामनको विष्णुको अवतारमध्ये एउटा अवतार वामन हो। त्यो वामनको अवतारको मूर्ति छ, त्यो चाहिँ सबभन्दा पुरानो मूर्ति हो, अभिलेख भएको पूर्ण अभिलेख, सबै पढ्न सकिने। राजा मानदेवले एउटै समयमा दुईटा मूर्तिहरू स्थापना गरे, एउटा पशुपतिको तिलगङ्गामा स्थापना गर्यो त्रिविक्रम वामनको मूर्ति, अर्को मूर्ति चाहिँ नि लाजिमपाटमा स्थापना गर्यो। त्यो दुईटै मूर्तिमा एउटै अभिलेख छ, एकै प्रकारको अभिलेख छ। दुईटै मानदेवले आफ्नो आमाको पुण्य वृद्धिको लागि मैले विष्णुको अवतार त्रिविक्रम वामनको मूर्ति स्थापना गरेँ भनेर लेखेका छन्। त्यसकारण मूर्ति अभिलेख पनि भएको, मिति पनि भएको मूर्ति चाहिँ नि त्रिविक्रम वामनको मूर्ति भयो, तर शैलीको हिसाबले त्योभन्दा प्राचीन मूर्तिहरू छन्। त्योभन्दा प्राचीन मूर्तिहरूमा चाहिँ नि जस्तो आर्यघाटमा भएको विरूपाक्षको मूर्ति पर्छ। विरूपाक्षको मूर्तिको जुन शैली छ नि, त्यो शैली चाहिँ कस्तो भनेदेखि किराँत कालमा शासन गर्ने राजाहरूको जुन शारीरिक बनोट छ त्यो बनोटलाई दर्शाउने खालको मूर्ति छ। त्यसमा अभिलेख छैन, कुनै पनि अभिलेख अहिलेसम्म भेटिएको छैन, त्यसमा कुनै कुरा अङ्कित छैन। तर त्यो विरूपाक्षको मूर्ति स्थापना गरेको जुन मन्दिर हो त्यो मन्दिरमा अरू पनि दुई तिनवटा मूर्तिहरू छन् र मूर्तिकलाको अध्ययन गर्ने नेपाली विद्वानहरू, विदेशी विद्वानहरूले त्यो गर्भगृहमा गएका मूर्तिहरूलाई लिच्छवी कालभन्दा पूर्वको मानेका छन्, पहिलेको मूर्ति मानेको छन्, जसमा एउटा विरूपाक्ष भयो। त्यसपछि त्यहाँ मृगेश्वर भनिन्छ। शिवपुराणमा शिवले विभिन्न अवस्थामा आफ्नो स्वरूपहरू परिवर्तन गरेका कथाहरू आउँछन्, जसमध्ये एउटा उनले यो मृगको स्वरूप लिएर त्यो वनमा विचरण गरेको कथा छ र त्यहाँ एउटा मृगको मूर्ति पनि छ। र अर्को चाहिँ नि राजपुरुष पनि भन्छन्, कसैले राजपुरुष भनेछन् किनभने एउटा गद्दीमा त्यहाँ एउटा बलिष्ठ शरीर भएको अलिकति देख्दाखेरि नै एउटा एकदम स्तरीय मूर्ति भन्छौँ नि हामीले, प्रज्वल्ल खालको मूर्ति छ। त्यसलाई चाहिँ कसैले राजा भनेका छन्, कसैले चाहिँ पछाडिपट्टि सूर्यको जस्तो तेज भएको हुनाले सूर्यको मूर्ति पनि भनेका छन्, त्यो मूर्ति पनि छ। कारण त्यो कोठामा चाहिँ नि त्यो मन्दिरमै भनौँ, त्यो मन्दिरमा 3-4वटा त्यो शेखर शैलीको मन्दिर छ, 3-4वटा प्राचीन मूर्तिहरू छन्। त्यो पनि पशुपति क्षेत्रमा भएको प्राचीन मूर्ति हो। पशुपति क्षेत्रमा थुप्रै शिवलिङ्गहरू छन् जुन अभिलेख भएको पनि छ, अभिलेख भएको पनि अभिलेख नभएको पनि। फेरि शिवलिङ्ग प्राय 2 प्रकारका 3 प्रकारको शिवलिङ्ग बनाउने चलन छ र 2 प्रकारको बढी प्रचलन छ। एउटा चाहिँ हामी सादा शिवलिङ्ग भन्छौँ जसमा मुख कोरिँदैन, शिवलिङ्ग बनाइएको हुन्छ। शिवलाई पञ्चमुखी मान्ने चलन छ। पूर्वबाट सुरु गरेर तत्पुरुष, सद्योजात, वामदेव, अघोर र ईशान भन्छौँ। पूर्व, पश्चिम, उत्तर र दक्षिण चारैतिर र माथिपट्टि आकाश तत्त्व हुन्छ। त्यो 5वटा मुखको प्रतिनिधित्व गरेर शिवलाई आह्वान गरिन्छ, पूजा। कारण पञ्चवक्त्र भन्ने चलन छ, 5वटा मुख भएको शिव। तर त्यो चाहिँ नि कल्पना गरिन्छ, तर त्यसमा मुख बनाइएको हुँदैन। पूजा गर्ने बेलामा चाहिँ नि अब सुरुदेखि नै पूर्व दिशा, पश्चिम दिशा गरेर बन्यो। त्यस्तो एउटा सादा शिवलिङ्ग भयो। अर्को चाहिँ नि यही 5वटा मुखलाई फेरि मुहार बनाइन्छ। शिव 3टा आँखा भएको त्रिनेत्रधारी हुन्, त्यस कारण 3टा आँखा बनाइन्छ। र शिवले चाहिँ नि गलामा सर्पको माला लगाउने भएर सर्पको माला पनि लगाइएको, हातमा कमण्डलु लिएको, रुद्राक्ष माला लिएको, तर हात त्यसरी शिवलिङ्गमा बनाएको मुखलिङ्ग भन्छ। एउटा सादा भयो, अर्को मुखलिङ्ग भयो। पशुपति क्षेत्रभित्र चाहिँ नि सादा शिवलिङ्ग, मुखलिङ्ग पनि एउटा चाहिँ हामीले पञ्चमुखको कुरा गऱ्यौँ। अर्को शिवलिङ्ग एक मुख मात्रै पनि हुन्छ, एउटा मात्रै मुख बनाइन्छ। दिशा चारैतिर भयो, एउटा दिशामा मात्रै मुख बनाउँछ। त्यस्तो पनि पशुपति क्षेत्रमा 10-12 शिवलिङ्गहरू छन्। हामीले पशुपति क्षेत्रमा एकचोटि मात्रै पाइला टेक्न पायौँ भने पनि 100वटा अश्वमेध यज्ञ गरेको बराबर पुण्य मिल्छ भनेको छैन। अझ त्यहाँ प्राण जानको लागि मानिसहरूले, त्यही भएर धेरैजना काठमाडौँका बासिन्दाहरू अनि अरू पनि केही रोग लागेर अब मृत्यु नजिक छ भनेर थाहा पाइसकेपछि त्यो आर्यघाटमा आएर त्यहाँ बस्ने घरहरू नै थिए, सेतो घर, रातो घर भनेर त्यहाँ आएर बसेर प्राण त्यहाँ छोड्न पाइयो। अन्तिम अवस्थामा पशुपतिको ब्रह्मनालमा सुतेर पशुपतिलाई चढाइएको जल सेचन गर्न पाइयो र आर्यघाटमा अन्त्येष्टि गर्न पाइयो भनेदेखि त्यो मान्छेले मोक्ष प्राप्त गर्छ भनेको छ। त्यसले गर्दा त्यो क्षेत्र एकदम ठुलो धाम हो।
त्यस्तै पशुपतिनाथमा हुने लिङ्ग जात्रा, कुण्ड जात्रा, उपलिङ्ग जात्रा मध्ये लिङ्ग जात्रा धेरै वर्षसम्म हराएर चलेको छ, तर उपलिङ्ग जात्रा र कुण्ड जात्रा हराएको छ। त्यसलाई फेरि रिभाइभ गर्नुपर्ने छ। अब यस्तै हामीले प्रचार प्रसार गर्नुपर्छ, रिसर्च गर्नुपर्छ। जति अध्ययन गऱ्यौँ त्यसका व्यवस्थाहरू मिल्दै जान्छन् र कालान्तरमा यो रिभाइभ हुन्छ नै, हामीले गर्नु पनि पर्छ यसलाई।
हाम्रा प्राचीन स्मारक, प्राचीन सम्पदा भनेको हाम्रो पहिचान हो। हाम्रो यसको चाहिँ एउटा मापन पनि हो। हामी कति सभ्य छौँ, हाम्रो सभ्यता कहाँ पुगेको छ भन्ने एउटा मापन पनि हो। त्यो प्रविधि, त्यो मौलिक स्वरूप र मौलिक सामग्रीहरू जुन चाहिँ अति उत्कृष्ट छ, यहाँको भौगोलिक वातावरणको लागि इकोलोजीसँग म्याच गर्ने गरेर हाम्रो पुर्खाले डेभलप विकास गर्दै गर्दै हामी यहाँ पुगिसकेका छौँ भने यसलाई संरक्षण गर्ने दायित्व हाम्रो हो। त्यस्ता सम्पदाहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले मौलिक स्वरूपमा मौलिक सामग्री प्रयोग गरेर मौलिक प्रविधिबाटै बनाउन चाहिँ हामी सबैले प्रयोग गर्नुपर्छ र हाम्रो सोच पनि त्यही हुनुपर्छ। विकास निर्माणका कामहरू गर्दा पनि त्यस्ता सम्पदाहरूलाई केन्द्रबिन्दुमा राखेर अरू थप विकासका कामहरू, व्यवस्थापनका कामहरू गर्नुपर्छ।
भगवान पशुपतिनाथको मन्दिर रहेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि यो सबै हिन्दूहरूको लागि मात्रै शिव भक्तहरूको लागि मात्रै अथवा चाहिँ शैव मत मान्नेहरूको लागि मात्रै हो कि भन्ने जस्तो मान्छेले बुझेका हुन्छन्। तर पशुपति क्षेत्र भनेको यस्तो स्थल हो, त्यो सद्भावको क्षेत्र हो। त्यो चाहिँ नि सबैको, अब त्यहाँ पशुपति क्षेत्रमा हामी गयौँ भने त्यहाँ विष्णुका मन्दिरहरू पनि छन्, विष्णुका मूर्तिहरू पनि छन्। त्यस्तै शाक्यमुनि बुद्धका, लोकेश्वरका, पद्मपाणिका मूर्तिहरू पनि छन्। चैत्यहरू पशुपति क्षेत्रभित्रै धन्दु चैत्यदेखि लिएर कुटुबैल, चाबियार होइन अनेक बौद्ध धर्मसँग सम्बन्धित चाहिँ हामीसँग कृतिहरू छन्।
The temple's extraordinary design is attributed to the cumulative contributions of successive kings, each leaving their mark by adding distinctive elements to its architecture. This rich history of royal patronage is the primary factor contributing to the exceptional and intricate design of this revered temple.
This is The World This Week, your weekly roundup of the latest international events and updates. This is me, Bhavana Kesi. In this edition, we bring you the stories making headlines across the globe, from high-stakes stand-up space missions to cultural milestones and remarkable human feats. We have all that you need. Let's begin with the rising tensions along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Pakistan has struck major cities in Afghanistan, including the capital Kabul, as part of a wave of attacks across the country. The Pakistani strikes come after the Afghan Taliban announced a major offensive against Pakistani military posts near the border.
Pakistan's latest operation came after Afghan forces attacked Pakistani border troops on Thursday night over earlier airstrikes by Islamabad. Relations between the neighbors have plunged in recent months since deadly fighting in October that killed more than 70 people on both sides. Islamabad accuses Afghanistan of failing to act against militant groups that carry out attacks in Pakistan, which the Taliban government denies. Most of the attacks have been claimed by the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan (TTP), a militant group that has stepped up assaults in Pakistan since the Afghan Taliban returned to power in Kabul in 2021. Several rounds of negotiations followed an initial ceasefire brokered by Qatar and Turkey, but the efforts have failed to produce a lasting agreement. After repeated breaches of initial truce, Saudi Arabia intervened this month, mediating the release of 3 Pakistani soldiers captured by Afghanistan in October. Both Afghan and Pakistani militaries say they have killed dozens of soldiers in the latest round of border violence, which followed multiple strikes by Islamabad on Afghanistan and clashes along the frontier in recent months. As tensions flared, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif had said the country has the full capacity to crush any aggressive ambitions, with the defense minister declaring open war on the Afghan Taliban. The Afghan defense ministry reported 8 of its soldiers had been killed in the land offensive. An Afghan official has reported multiple civilians wounded near the Torkham border crossing at a camp for people returning from Pakistan.
An Indian court has closed a corruption case against former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal almost 2 years after he was arrested and held in jail for months.
A court in India has closed a corruption case against former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal almost 2 years after he was arrested and held in jail for months. The Aam Aadmi Party AAP leader was arrested in March 2024, weeks before India's general election, in connection with a liquor policy which authorities alleged gave undue advantages to private retailers. On Friday, the court cleared Kejriwal and 23 others, saying there was no overarching conspiracy or criminal intent in the excise policy. The judge also criticized the Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) for its probe and recommended an inquiry against the investigating officer. The CBI has said they would appeal the verdict. The other AAP leaders, Manish Sisodiya, Sanjay Singh, were also arrested in the case in 2023 and are among the 23 cleared by the court. After their arrest, all 3 AAP leaders spent significant time in jail as they were repeatedly denied bail by the trial court and Delhi High Court before receiving relief from the Supreme Court. Kejriwal had accused the governing Bharatiya Janata Party BJP, which controls the police and investigating agencies in the capital, of plotting against him and targeting opposition leaders, allegations the BJP has denied. The court also has reviewed the CBI for building its case on statements made by approvers.
As Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine enters its 4th year, Ukrainian President Zelensky says Moscow has failed to achieve its key war objectives and is urging European allies to maintain strong support for Kiev. Fighting continues across eastern Ukraine, even as diplomatic efforts to end the conflict show little sign of progress.
On the 4th anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had said Russia's President Vladimir Putin has failed to achieve his war goals. Zelensky later in a video address to the European Parliament urged the European Union to set out a clear timeline for his country's accession to the bloc on the 4th anniversary of the Russia's invasion.
And it is important for us to receive a clear date for joining the EU. Very important. As a part of the diplomacy process right now, within all the diplomacy aimed at ending the war. And this is not just a wish. It's a clear understanding of how Putin will act. If there is no date, if there is no such guarantee, he will find a way to block Ukraine for decades by dividing you, by dividing Europe. We must protect ourselves from this.
The latest peace talks between Russia and Ukraine took place in Geneva earlier this month in the latest of several attempts to end the deadliest fighting in Europe since the World War II. The discussions reportedly focused on ceasefire agreements, humanitarian corridors, and mechanisms for prisoner exchanges. However, significant gaps still remain between the parties. Kremlin's spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, however, says the goals of what Russia calls the special military operation have not been fully achieved yet. Meanwhile, during a ceremony held at NATO headquarters in Brussels, NATO Chief Mark Rutte said a promise of help does not end a war.
Because a promise of help does not end a war. Ukraine needs ammunition today and every day until the bloodshed stops. Ukraine continues to blunt Russia's aggression, and despite Putin's posturing, Russia has failed to meet their ambitions on the battlefield.
UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer, after opening his weekly cabinet meeting, said the UK stands with Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Let's be clear, in terms of getting to that just and lasting peace, it is Putin who is standing in the way. Volodymyr Zelensky has shown willing, he's taken the lead, it is Putin who is standing in the way, and that's why we must always double down on our support for Ukraine. That means capability, it means resource, it means more sanctions, and today I'm pleased that we're announcing the biggest package since 2022 in terms of sanctions package. That's 300 energy companies, Russian energy companies, that are being targeted.
The United Nations Security Council is also holding a meeting on Ukraine to commemorate the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of the country. The ongoing war in Ukraine has caused widespread damage to infrastructure, homes, and public services across multiple regions. Recent Russian missile and artillery strikes have targeted energy plants, transportation networks, and civilian areas, leading to power outages, water shortages, and displacement of thousands of residents. Officials report that cities such as Zaporizhia and Kharkiv have suffered severe destruction of residential buildings, schools, and hospitals, compounding humanitarian needs. The World Bank, meanwhile, has updated its cost estimate for Ukraine's reconstruction, raising it to $588 billion from $524 billion in its previous report.
North Korea's ruling Workers' Party has reappointed Kim Jong-un as General Secretary at a key party congress in Pyongyang, reinforcing the Kim family's decades-long grip on power.
North Korea's ruling Workers' Party has again chosen Kim Jong-un to be its General Secretary, according to the state media. The announcement, which was made at a rubber stamp party congress in Pyongyang on Sunday, comes as little surprise given the Kim family has ruled by dictatorship since the late 1940s. State-run KCNA said that under Kim's leadership, North Korea radically improved its war deterrence, with the nuclear forces as its pivot. Despite long-standing international sanctions, North Korea has continued to build its nuclear capabilities, regularly testing banned intercontinental missiles. But the secrecy of the regime makes it harder to evaluate how much progress the military has made. Kim, who took control of the regime after his father's death in 2011, has invested heavily in the nuclear weapons program, turning Pyongyang into a far bigger challenge for the West and especially the US. Before it started, North Korea unveiled what it said was a range of nuclear-capable rocket launchers. The Congress has been held once every 5 years in the last decade, with some 5,000 party members in attendance, according to the KCNA. It offers a rare glimpse into the structure of political power in North Korea, which remains quite opaque to even the keenest watchers. The meetings are considered to be the most important political event and provide insight into where the country's priorities lie, from foreign policy to its nuclear ambitions.
UN Chief Antonio Guterres has warned that the rule of force is gaining ground globally, saying human rights are under a full-scale attack as powerful actors undermine the international law. Guterres also urged countries to defend global norms and accountability amid rising challenges worldwide.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that the rule of force is spreading globally as powerful actors undermine international law and human rights. Addressing the opening of UN Human Rights Council's annual session in Geneva, Guterres said human
rights are under a full-scale attack around the world, highlighting growing challenges to global norms and accountability.
Human rights are under a full-scale attack around the world. The rule of law is being outmuscled by the rule of force. And this assault is not coming from the shadows or by surprise. It is happening in plain sight and often led by those who hold the greatest power. Around the world, human rights are being pushed back deliberately, strategically, and sometimes proudly.
The UN Human Rights Council's annual session in Geneva is a yearly gathering of member states and observers to review global human rights issues, debate country-specific situations, and adopt resolutions aimed at promoting accountability and protecting fundamental freedoms worldwide.
NASA's Artemis 2 mission has been delayed after a problem with the rocket's helium system. The Space Launch System and Orion spacecraft were rolled back from the launch pad so engineers could fix the issue before the first crewed moon flyby in over 50 years.
NASA's highly anticipated Artemis 2 mission has been delayed after engineers discovered a technical problem with the rocket's helium system. As a result, the Space Launch System, or SLS, and the Orion spacecraft were rolled back from the launch pad so technicians can conduct thorough inspections and repairs. Meanwhile, the Artemis program continues alongside ongoing activities aboard the International Space Station. French astronaut Sophie Adenauer, currently in orbit, has reported being in excellent health and spirits after 14 days in space. At 400 kilometers above Earth, Adenauer is the first French woman in space in 25 years, following Claudie Hegner, and her presence highlights the international collaboration that remains central to NASA's human spaceflight efforts.
In Syria's Aleppo, craftsmen are keeping ancient tradition alive by hand-making lanterns, symbols of light, joy, and spiritual reflection.
The Islamic holy month of Ramadan has been long associated with a rich tapestry of customs and traditions that define its unique celebrations. Among this is the Ramadan lantern. A craftsman in Aleppo continues a 40-year tradition of making handmade lanterns, keeping alive a cultural craft that has been passed down through the generations. The artisan shapes lanterns using traditional techniques in his workshop, maintaining both the aesthetic and cultural value of the craft. The process involves collecting copper and glass, sorting the copper by type according to the lantern and design, engraving patterns, and finishing with polishing. Lanterns play a central role in the Ramadan celebration, symbolizing light, joy, and spiritual reflection. They are used to decorate homes, streets, mosques, restaurants, shops, and hotels throughout the holy month. Despite challenges such as rising material cost and limited markets, the craft continues to represent a symbol of Syrian heritage.
A daring rescue of wild elephant took a terrifying turn in Sri Lanka when the exhausted animal charged at the very people who freed it. Villagers and wildlife officials breathed a sigh of relief after the wild beast finally retreated into the nearby jungle.
What began as a desperate rescue mission to save a trapped wild elephant turned into a heart-stopping scene of chaos and fear when the distressed animal charged at the very people who worked to free it. Villagers first spotted the elephant helplessly stuck inside a deep muddy pit, exhausted and covered in thick slush after repeated attempts to climb out. The massive tusker struggled for hours, trumpeting in frustration as its legs slipped back into the muck each time it tried to escape. Alarmed by the situation, local residents alerted wildlife officials, who later arrived with heavy machinery, including backhoe loaders, to dig a sloping pathway to help the animal climb out safely. For nearly an hour, officials and villagers worked side by side, carving out a path of freedom. Finally, with the newly created escape route ready, the exhausted elephant hauled itself out of the pit. What happened next left everyone stunned. Just moments after reaching solid ground, the elephant suddenly turned aggressive, trumpeting loudly before charging straight at the crowd. After several tense minutes, the elephant abruptly stopped its rampage and lumbered away into the nearby jungle. Officials believe the animal may have acted out of fear and confusion after a stressful and exhausting ordeal.
A baby monkey named Punch at Japan Zoo that was abandoned by his mother and raised by zookeepers has now become a global attention.
A baby monkey raised by humans at a Japanese zoo has become a popular attraction, clinging to a stuffed toy orangutan that he has grown up with. The baby monkey named Punch was abandoned by his mother after she gave birth to him in July last year at Ichikawa City Zoo in Chiba Prefecture. Zookeepers decided to raise him through bottle feeding. When they gave Punch a stuffed orangutan as a surrogate mother to cling to, he apparently started developing an emotional bond with it. Since Punch was brought back into a monkey mountain on January 19, his adorable habit of holding on to the stuffed animal and dragging it along with him wherever he goes has made him a popular attraction at the zoo. Zoo officials say monkeys raised separately by humans often face difficulty in integrating with other monkeys, which may show hostility. Zookeepers say they often saw Punch left all alone in the monkey mountain soon after he was released there. More recently, Punch has started making greater efforts to approach other monkeys, as if to show that he wants to be one of them. The sight of Punch making desperate efforts has drawn sympathy from people all over the world.
Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another has dominated the BAFTAs, taking home 6 awards including the Best Movie, in a major boost to its award season's campaign.
Please welcome your host for this evening, Alan Cumming.
And welcome to the EE BAFTA Film Awards 2026.
And the BAFTA goes to One Battle After Another.
Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another continues its award season's streak by winning 6 awards, including the top prize at the BAFTAs. With royals and even Paddington Bear present, the British Awards recognize homegrown talent across categories, including Robert Aramayo triumphing over established stars Timothée Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio to snag the Best Actor honor for his portrayal of a man with Tourette syndrome. In addition to its Best Movie win, Anderson's movie was recognized in categories such as Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, and Best Original Score, cementing its status as a critical favorite. It is said that the sweeping success underscores both Anderson's enduring influence in contemporary cinema and the film's resonance with audiences and critics alike.
The Maslenitsa festival has been celebrated in Russia's Kaluga region by the burning of a 25-meter art structure. The event marks the end of winter and the start of Lent for Orthodox Christians.
The spectacular ritual, which draws crowds from across the region, symbolizes the end of winter and the arrival of Lent for Orthodox Christians. Maslenitsa, sometimes called Butter Week or Pancake Week, is a traditional Slavic holiday celebrated with music, dance, feasting, and various artistic performances. The burning of the monumental wooden structure is considered the festival's climax, representing the symbolic farewell to winter and the welcoming of spring. Festival organizers describe the event as both a cultural and spiritual celebration, blending folk traditions with modern artistic expression. Maslenitsa remains one of Russia's most vibrant and widely celebrated holidays, showcasing the enduring connection between traditional customs, community celebrations, and artistic expression.
The week-long vibrant celebrations of Rio de Janeiro's Carnival have come to a close. The final night of the Sambadrome marked the conclusion of one of the world's most iconic samba parades and colorful performances.
Paraiso Samba School took part in the final night of Rio de Janeiro's Sambodromo parades with a spectacular and politically charged celebration of the ancestry, resilience, and resistance of Black communities from Africa, Cuba, and Brazil. The performance featured elaborately decorated floats, intricate costumes, and high-energy choreography, combining traditional samba rhythms with powerful storytelling elements to highlight the historical success and struggles and cultural contributions of the African diaspora. Judges and spectators alike noted the school's emphasis on both artistic excellence and social messaging, a hallmark of Paraiso's recent carnival presentations. Organizers say the parade sought not only to entertain but also to educate audiences on the enduring legacy of slavery, colonialism, and systematic oppression, while celebrating the enduring cultural richness and creativity of Black communities. Thousands of attendees lined up to witness the school's performance, which culminated in a grand finale blending with music, dance, and visual spectacle.
Well, this vibrant celebrations of Rio's Carnival brings us to the end of this episode of The World This Week. We hope you enjoyed as much as we did bringing it to you. We shall see you again next week with a new episode. Also, do follow us on our website www.nepaltelevision.com, our social media handles, as well as our YouTube channel. Till then, take care and bye-bye.
Culture and identity of a nation or community is deeply embedded in its craft and lifestyle. In this, specialized craft producers are major actors. Besides specialized skills and uniqueness, time adds value to such crafts. In this film, we explore two such specialized crafts, one in Kathmandu and the other in Niigata, that have played significant role in elevating their respective national culture and identity in the world's fair. The capital of Nepal, Kathmandu, is a spectacular blend of natural beauty and culture. Habitat to about 2.5 million people, the city holds a rich cultural history that dates back to the ancient times. The 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites it encompasses are evident to the fact. Swayambhunath, Bodhanath, Pashupatinath temple premises, Changunarayan temple area, as well as the 3 Darbar squares of Kathmandu, Patan and Bhaktapur enlisted in the UNESCO Cultural World Heritage Site are not only a glimpse of its civilization, but Nepalese treasured pride. The civilization of Kathmandu that lies 1400 meters above the sea level seemingly holds a close connection with copper products since time immemorial. Historical text has it that Kathmandu in ancient time was referred to as Nepal. Sanskrit lexicographers have a synonym of tamra or copper as Nepaliklam and Nepalam. Hence, the origin of the name Nepal is assumed to have been derived from the Sanskrit word copper. In Nepal, copper has been a basic raw material to a wide range of art and crafts, including in sculpture, architecture, dite and housewares making. Thus, it has over time been an integral part of Nepali civilization and lifestyle.
इस्वीको सुरुदेखि चाहिँ ताम्रको टुक्राहरूको व्यवहारबाट चाहिँ यसको चलनचल्ती भएको बुझिन्छ। त्यसपछि चाहिँ 6औं शताब्दीमा आएर चाहिँ यसबाट चाहिँ मुद्रा बनाउने चलन आयो। तिस्टुङको भटुवाल र पाल्चोक भन्ने दुई ठाउँमा अंशवर्माले राखेको अभिलेखमा चाहिँ यो ताम्रभाण्ड तामाका भाँडाहरू चाहिँ सरकारको स्वीकृति बिना बाहिर लानु हुँदैन भन्ने उल्लेख आएको छ। ह्वेनसाङ चाहिँ भारतमा आएर भारतबाट चाहिँ नेपाल भएर चाहिँ चीन फर्केको बुझिन्छ। त्यो चाहिँ 643-44 ईस्वी सम्बततिर आएको बुझिन्छ। त्यो जुन कैलाशकूट भवन छ त्यो कैलाशकूट भवनबारे ह्वेनसाङले एकदमै राम्रो चाहिँ उल्लेख गरेको छ कि यो 7 तलाको थियो। यसको चाहिँ छाना चाहिँ तामाको थियो। यसको चाहिँ नेपालमा चाहिँ तामाको पैसा चाहिँ चल्तीमा छ। यहाँका मानिसहरूले भाँडाकुँडाहरू तामाको चलाउँछ। यी कुराहरू उल्लेख गरेको छ जुन चाहिँ चाइनाको टाङ वृत्तान्तमा अथवा इतिहासमा उल्लेख गरिएको छ।
The earliest known Ripause image is Garudasana Vishnu, dated 607 CE from Changunarayan Temple in Bhaktapur. Some historical metal idols of the 6th and 7th century are remaining in private possession or in museum collections abroad. A significant consideration as evidence of copper metal craft are the idols dating back to the 11th century excavated in Makwanpur, which is a district adjoining Kathmandu. At the moment, these rare valuables are safely harbored at the Patan Darbar Square Museum. Among the 3 cities of Kathmandu Valley, Patan is comparatively popular for copper craft. Hundreds of families, especially the Newars, who are natives of this cultural city, have been preserving their ancestral legacy of manufacturing copperwares and artifacts for generations now. In Nepal, copper artifacts are made mainly through 2 techniques, either by lost waxing or ripause, which is a technique of pounding metal sheets. The Malla period between 1200 to 1482 is considered a golden era in terms of metalcraft in Nepal. An array of work dazzling in its quantity and quality was produced then, much of which survives. The popularity of Nepali artisans had reached far and wide. It was in this period that Araniko, the famous artisan, was taken to Tibet. In 1265, Emperor Kublai Khan of China, impressed with Araniko's work, invited him to the capital and got him to renovate the artifacts in the monastery there, dating back to the Song period. In 1274, Emperor Khan appointed Araniko the director of the court artisans in China. To date, artists in hundreds are committed to continue the legacy of copper craft in Nepal. Among them, some are successfully effortful to simultaneously take ahead promotion and expansion of the craft. Among such names is Rajkumar Shakya, renowned for his crafts and entrepreneurship. Shakya was born on 1966 in Patan in a family of metal craftsmen.
हाम्रो पुर्खौली अब बाजे बराजुदेखि नै यही काममा लाग्नु भएको बुवाले काम गर्नु भएको जासलमा बसेर बुवासँगै बसेर खेल्दै सिक्दै काम गर्दै गर्दै परम्परागत तरिकाले नै सिकेको मैले सानो बेला सिक्दाखेरि त्यति बजार पनि थिएन यो कलाको अहिले आउँदाखेरि यो कलाको चाहिँ बजार पनि अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय जगतमा फैलिँदै गयो यसको चाहिँ उत्पादनमा पनि वृद्धि गर्नुपर्ने देखियो
Shakya's works have made a niche both in the national and international market. Passion, focus, devotion and search for new ideas is what has elevated Shakya's profile as compared to other artists. The incomparable expression of skill and creation of beauty are reflected in his works, which are beyond imagination for any ordinary artists. His widely acclaimed works of craft have been placed at various countries, with Japan, Vietnam, China, Thailand harboring his significant works. The latest is the 155 feet tall idol of Guru Padmasambhav in Bhutan. Based on repoussé, pounded sheets of copper were wrapped around iron skeleton which was built using modern architecture. Supervised by Shakya, it took 4 years for 57 artisans to complete the idol.
2000 एक्सपो मा जर्मनमा मैले सबभन्दा ठुलो स्वयम्भूको स्तूपा बनाउने अवसर पाएँ फेरि पछि चाहिँ 2010 मा चाइनामा पनि फेरि एक्सपो वर्ल्ड एक्सपोमा त्यहाँ पनि मैले चाहिँ ठुलो स्तूपा बनाउने र अरु कलाकृतिहरू बनाउने मौका पाएँ त्यसमा चाहिँ अझ मैले चाहिँ हाम्रो हनुमान ढोकाको श्वेत भैरवको मुखाकृति 12 फिटको श्वेत भैरवको मुखाकृति पनि बनाउने अवसर पाएँ त्यो पनि त्यहाँ अब चाइनामा चाहिँ एक्सपोमा प्रदर्शन गर्न पाएँ त्यसपछि अनि चाहिँ मैले भुटानमा पद्मसम्भवको मूर्ति बनाउने पनि अवसर पाएँ
Cultural and anthropological experts have highly evaluated Shakya's efficiency and capabilities.
त्यो 14औं शताब्दीमा जुन परम्परा थियो हाम्रो नेपालबाट अन्य देशमा गएर चाहिँ नि कलाकारहरूले आफ्नो कला प्रस्तुत गर्ने नेपालको कलाकारितालाई त्यहाँ चाहिँ नि स्थापित गर्ने जुन काम गरेको थियो त्यस्तै कामको चाहिँ नि निरन्तरताको रूपमा अहिले हामीले 20औं 21औं शताब्दीमा राजकुमार साकेजीलाई पाएको छौं यस्तो ठुलो ठुलो ह्युज त्यो मूर्तिहरू बनाउने क्रममा चाहिँ नि त्यो मूर्तिको एउटा स्थानबाट अर्को स्थानमा सार्नु त्यस्तै गरी त्यसलाई चाहिँ प्रोपोर्सनेट मिलाउने आदि इत्यादि टेक्निकल पनि एकदमै कठिन काम हो अब यसलाई चाहिँ उहाँले अत्यन्तै माइन्युटली चाहिँ गर्नु हुँदो रहेछ
To reach Shakya's stature, however, takes a lot of dedication, devotion, practice and patience. Thus, not many youth look keen in pursuing with the profession. Keeping this in mind, Shakya also conducts classes for the younger generation in a bid to hand it over to them. Most interestingly, Shakya's son is also one of his pupils and has already joined him in his business.
हेरिटेजमा नेपालको एकदम टुरिस्टहरु पनि एकदम आकर्षित भयो हेरिटेजमा हैन त्यही भएर अब बुवा पनि यसमै लाग्नु भयो त्यही पनि मैले नि यसमै गरौँ कि जस्तो मलाई लाग्यो बुवा यति आर्टिस्ट भएर पनि अब मेरोमा पनि धेरै एक्सपेक्टेसन गर्छन् होला अरूले पनि त्यही भएर अब सिक्न काम गाह्रो पनि छ सिक्न अब टाइम पनि लाग्नेछ धेरै सिक्न पनि त बाँकी छ
Such noble endeavors, complemented by the engagement of the younger generation, have indeed sparked a hope that the prosperous tradition will be kept alive. For those involved in copper kitchenwares and housewares, the biggest emerging threat is the modern wares, which are both attractive and cheaper. In a bid to preserve their profession, they have now attempted to add diversity to their products based on the demand of the changing times. Meanwhile, there are others like Kalyan Krishna Tamrakar, who, although remaining in the trade, have embraced newer productions based on market needs. Tamrakar has been manufacturing artistic utensils along with internationally acclaimed singing bowls, which are mostly used in meditational purposes.
करीब 28 वर्ष भयो सिंगिङ बोल्स नयाँ सिंगिङ बोल्स बनाउने र त्यसमा अलिकति थेरापिक युजको लागि बनाएको सायद नेपालमा पहिलो नै मैले बनाए होला एउटा फिलोसफी हो र जहाँसम्म युटेन्सिल्स मैले बनाउने सन्दर्भमा पहिला यो धेरै पहिलाहरू बन्थ्यो र पछि बिस्तारै यो ब्रोन्जको युटेन्सिल्सहरू लोप हुँदै गयो अनि यो बनाउनु पाए हुन्छ कि भनेर अनि हामीले यसलाई फेरि बनाउन थालिएको.
The market for singing bowls is mostly Europe and is used in intensive research and meditation. The sound created from the balls vary based on the utensil itself and is proven effective for improving blood circulation and hence is used in therapy as well. Tamrakar, whose forefathers had been copper craftsmen by profession, has justifiably promoted their knowledge and skills in the wider market through entrepreneurship. Majority of his buyers are from Germany and Japan.
やはり他で買いが利かないのと、さらにその日本の求める品質にネパールの人たちが合わせてものを作ってくれるからと思います。
私のユーザーは心を癒すそういったツールを大変求めているユーザーが多いです。例えばアロマセラピーの方でヨガの方、そういった方たちの要望に応えるためにネパールから輸入しようと思いました。そうすると残ってる手作りは大変高い、ほとんどアーティストのレベルしか残りなくなります。一般の方が使う商品はもう今やネパールでないとできないのが現状だと思っています。ですから私たちのユーザーはそれを望んでますから、今私もネパールから大変たくさんの量を輸入しています。
In the Yahikoyama terrain drained by Shinano River lies Niigata city. Rice farming is predominant owing to the rich soil deposit which makes it ideal for agriculture. Besides, it is also renowned for the high-quality copper mines. During the Meiji period, copper mining flourished in the foothills. Adorned in tulip blooms, the designated city of food and flowers does not rest even amidst thick blankets of snow. Subame in Niigata is a city of metal craft and craftsmen that have thrived through prosperity and tumultuous times. At the beginning of the 1600s, lot of artisans came to exist in the Subame-Sanjo area, driven by the local administration's policy of encouraging side business. Thus originated the metal processing industry from the making of Japanese-style nails known as wakugi. The first artisans also produced household items including agricultural tools, kitchenwares and tobacco pipes. Once Japan started importing Western-style nails, the number of artisans gradually started decreasing. During the Second World War until 1945, the factories in the local area had to be mobilized to produce military goods. The 1950s was a time of mass production and mass consumption in Japan. Thus, metal processing companies grew multifold in number and size. Following the Plaza Accord that largely intervened currency markets, the factories gradually lost their business to their overseas competitors. They did not have as many orders as they once had. As a result, the local business temporarily but sharply declined.
今、燕市で追記銅器というふうに言われている、器といいますか、ものがありますけれども、それは一般的に金鉱でいう金属を加工する技術の中の単金と言われるものの一つでして、それを全国的に同じような技法はたくさんあるんですけれども、燕市ではそれを追記銅器と呼んでいる。燕市の追記銅器というのは伝統工芸技術としても県の指定にもなっておりますし、伝統工芸品としても指定されていますが、燕市の中では大体今から250年くらい前の江戸時代の後期にその技術が仙台の方から来た職人によって伝わったと言われています。
Kakuhei Tamagawa also learned the technique from the craftsman and hence founded Gyokusendo in 1816. Since then, about 300 artisans have kept alive the traditional skills. The company is currently a leader in Niigata to preserve and expand the treasured tradition of Tsukidoki. It is said during the Second World War, when weapons and arms mass production had peaked, the Tsukidoki industry nearly disappeared owing to shortages of copper. It was Gyokusendo's then leadership that brought back the craftsmen dispersed across the country, that helped in the revival of the industry. Gyokusendo celebrates its 200th anniversary in 2016. Today, its outlets are spread in top-notch departmental stores in high-end streets of Japan and overseas. Motoyuki Tamagawa is the 7th master of Gyokusendo. Since taking over the company at an early age, he has worked hard to promote his products and company. Tamagawa, who strongly believes in adapting to business management style with time rather than changing age-old skill patterns, introduced the trend of putting his artisans in direct contact with the customers at Gyokusendo's outlets and during exhibitions. This, he believes, not only helps customer understand the skill and hard work required to create an artifact, but also helps the artisans learn the needs and tastes of the changing times.
顔の見える商売をしようと思ったんですよね。でそこで私が考えたのが商社を下ろさずに直接百貨店に行ってでそこで実演販売をして職人がお客様と会話するようなこのビジネスモデルを作っているんですね。この玉泉の方向としては、大量というよりは本当銅器を愛用してくださる方に対してちゃんと説明してちゃんと愛用していただける方を対象としたやっぱり商売をしていきたいと思ってますので、だからそういうこと職人も、だから職人をどんどん増やすというわけではなくビジネスもどんどん大きくするわけではなくてちゃんと玉泉堂というブランドをね本当高めていくでお客様のその愛用する顧客満足度もやっぱり高めていくというところがすごく大事だと思ってますね。
At the Gyokusendo factory, about 15 artisans of various ages work hard by the day to improve their skills. Working with Gyokusendo is a dream for many artisans. Gyokusendo recruits one from among hundreds applying every year. For a craftsman, it can take about 20 to 30 years to acquire proficiency to handle a set of techniques all by himself. Each stroke in tsukidoki is made in such a way such that the marks do not overlap. The proficiency of an artisan is observed in a vessel made out of one copper sheet and without any seams. For the younger artisans, it is a matter of a lot of perseverance and patience. Today, all independent tsukidoki artisans in Tsubame were once trained at Gyokusendo. Among them, a prominent name is of an artist par excellence, Master Norio Tamagawa.
今のその木目金イコール木目金っていうのがもう、のりおさんのことなんですけれども、その土台となっているのはやっぱり玉泉堂で修行していた時代の追記銅器という技術が骨幹にあって根元のところにあって、でそこから、まあ亡くなられた師匠のところに、弟子入りをしたりですとか、いろんなご苦労修行の中でご苦労されながら、今、世界にもこう名前を馳せるようになった素晴らしい作品を作られるようになったと思います。
Master Norio Tamagawa is the pride of Niigata and is acclaimed as the living national treasure, Japan. His insurmountable contribution in reviving mokumegane through his outstanding and unique creation is beyond comparison. The Tsubame Industrial History Museum, which is a hub to compile, preserve and exhibit industrial heritages, has set up a separate section to exhibit his works. This meticulously carved artifact harbored at the museum is the master's signature art piece. The masterpiece is a delicately hammered, refined handiwork that, owing to its traditional aura and aesthetic value, has awed art lovers and consumers across the world.
いわゆる就職って言いますか、会社へ入りますね。会社従業員として入って、何年か経った時に少し外の世界も見たいと思って東京へ2年ばかり修行に行ったんです。日本の芸大っていうね、その人たちとの交流もあったんで、その作品、私の場合はずっとほら商品を作ってたわけでしょ。商品じゃない作品作りのペースっていうのをね、ああ違うもんだなっていうのをつくづく感じましたね。
The master reminisces it took him 11 years before he could call his product a piece of art. As a young artist, he took inspiration from his seniors to aim high and excel bigger dreams.
作品作りには影響ないね。作品の場合はあくまでも個人のなんだ欲求のままに作るんですからね。世間が何を求めてるかっていうのはあんまり関係ない。っていうのは力がいる仕事なんでね。もう70過ぎてね、現役っていうのは今まであんまりいなかったんです。だから私は仕方ないからやってるけども、だから夢はないけども、もう作品をいくつ作れるか。
The traditional skill nurtured by newer skills, tools and technology has elevated the 200-year-old technique to a world-class art. Contemporary tsukidoki products include a wide range of aesthetically distinctive housewares and artifacts. Mr. Tatsushi Tamagawa, currently the chief manager at Gyokusendo, is Master Norio Tamagawa's son. He started as an artisan at Gyokusendo. Since then, much has changed. He has seen the changing business landscape, the diversity in products, which he says directly or indirectly determines the mindset and working style of an artisan.
言われたものを早く
きっちり作るっていうのがとてもいい職人だと思うんですけども、最近はプラス、いろいろこういう喋るものとかも今はそういうふうに、いろいろお客様に説明するとかそういうものも含まれて、全てこなしていい職人になるのかなという感じは最近はありますね。
Most fascinatingly, his son Keita, the youngest of the Tamagawas, also works under him at Gyokusendo. At 20, Keita is already an efficient beginner. Initially driven by his grandfather's success when he joined the company, it was but a prized escape for Keita. But now, Keita is intensively working hard to attain the precision to be a better artist.
そうですね。どちらの方もすごい仕事に対して一生懸命で寡黙なので、そういうところを自分に取り入れられたらいいなとは思ってますね。なんか、僕のお父さんもだんだんおじいちゃんに真似してるっていうか似てきているのでなんかそうですね。おじいちゃんからはやっぱりちょっと仕事がテキパキ早いので、そういうところをちょっと見習いたいなとは思いますね。はい、そういうところです。はい。
Since the beginning of human civilization, art has evolved based on culture and vice versa. Nevertheless, the demand of changing times has had a detrimental role to play in its course and form. Whether it is Niigata or Kathmandu, artisans continue to express themselves in their artworks. There is little doubt the modern-day artisans' creativity, aided by modern technology, has not only helped preserve traditional skills, but also contributed to the ascent of human civilization.
We have prepared a comprehensive security plan, which is named as Integrated Security Plan for Election. So this security plan has mentioned how to ensure the election security from the very beginning to the end of all these processes. The security plan itself is very clear. At the first layer, there is Nepal police and the election police, the combined. Then in the next layer, there will be APF, Armed Police Force, and in the third layer, there will be Nepal Army. And the vital installations during the election period will be protected by Nepal Army. And those who are deployed in the vital installations, they will be deployed in the election. So this is the basic framework how the security process are used in the election. Yeah, it is up to the election commission and Home Ministry. We both jointly complement to each other. Those ballot papers are transported to the district headquarters by the Nepal Army. Then from there to the polling station and the office of the election officer, then district level security arrangement will be responsible. And after the polling is over, then the ballot papers will be returned to the district headquarters either or at the election officer's office. We have already instructed our security agencies that whenever the situation, we have to make sure that the situation will be not escalated, it will be prevented. So we'll be working out on the preventive phase. The priority is preventive phase. And if situation goes beyond this and it goes to controlling phase, then at that time as well, the use of force, the rules and directives regarding use of force and rule of engagement should be properly followed, and minimum use of force can be allowed, but excessive use of force is not allowed. The option could be in some situations to halt the election process there, and repolling will be arranged again. So election commission, it is ultimately up to the election commission who can halt the polling there and arrange repolling. Whoever is liable for this derailment of the election process will be investigated, prosecuted, and subjected to proper penalty as well this time.
Nepal enters final stretch before crucial House of Representatives election. Election Commission advises on procedures ahead of polls. Nepalese face long queues for cooking gas as elections spark panic buying and shortages. Nepal's public debt surpasses over 2.8 trillion, reaches 46.81% of GDP. Scrub typhus spreads rapidly in Nepal amid seasonal illnesses, health experts warn. Pakistan-Afghanistan tensions erupt into an open war. Taliban attack Pakistani posts despite October's ceasefire. And Nepal Police Club and 3-1 Army set for J Trophy final match rescheduled to April 5 to 7. Hello, I am April Singh Lama and this is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in details. With the House of Representatives elections scheduled for March 5, the Election Commission has said all necessary preparations have entered the final stage. Speaking at a regular press conference, Joint Secretary and spokesperson Narayan Prasad Bhattarai said ballot papers, ballot boxes and other election materials have been delivered to all districts, while volunteers are being mobilized nationwide for voter education. The Commission has also finalized polling center arrangements and made key decisions on election security, coordination, operation and facilitation of essential services. Urging citizens to vote without fear, the Commission said security measures have been strengthened to ensure a free and fair polling process.
मतदानको दिन नजिकै नै गर्दा अब बाँकी रहेका दिनहरूमध्ये हामीसित 3 थरी दिनहरू छन्। एउटा राजनीतिक दलहरूले एक्टिभली प्रचार प्रसार गर्ने अवधि 18 गतेसम्म, 18 गते रातिदेखि मौन अवधि र मतदानको दिन नजिकै भएको हुनाले आयोगले यसको सेन्सिटिभिटीलाई मध्यनजर गरेर यो कामलाई उच्च प्राथमिकतामा राखेको छ। यही बीचमा हामी सोशल मिडिया प्लेटफर्म सञ्चालक कम्पनीहरूसँग पनि निरन्तर सम्पर्कमा छौं। उहाँहरूले पछिल्लो समयमा राम्रो सहयोग गर्नुभएको छ र तत्त कम्पनीहरूमा इलेक्सन डेस्क नै राखेर यहाँका इस्युहरूलाई ह्यान्डल गर्ने गरिएको छ। सोशल मिडिया प्लेटफर्म सञ्चालक कम्पनीहरूमा छुट्टै इलेक्सन डेस्क राखेर यहाँका इस्युहरूलाई रेस्पोन्स गर्ने गरिएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि हामीले सामान्य अवस्थामा भन्दा क्विक रेस्पोन्स पाएका छौं, छिटो रेस्पोन्स पाएका छौं। त्यसले पनि यो इन्फर्मेसन इन्टिग्रिटी मेन्टेन गर्नलाई सपोर्ट गरेको छ।
We will delve deeper on this later in this bulletin in our segment cover story. Now, as Nepal approaches the general elections, households across the country are facing acute shortages of cooking gas despite claims of increased imports. The Nepal Oil Corporation says LPG imports have risen by 25% and that daily supply exceeds demand, yet many depots report stock outs, forcing consumers to wait weeks or pay extra for a cylinder. Vendors attribute the scarcity to panic buying, while consumer rights advocates accuse traders of hoarding and exploiting weak oversight to fuel black market sales. With long queues seen outside the NOC's Teku office, candidates on the campaign trail are pledging to curb irregularities and ensure a steady and transparent supply system. We will bring more on this later in the bulletin in our segment Issue of the Day. Now, Nepal's government debt has crossed 28.58 billion Nepali rupees or 46.81% of the GDP, the Public Debt Management Office has reported. Internal debt accounts for 13.49 billion rupees, while external debt stands at 15.99 billion, making up to 52.81% of total debt. So far this fiscal year, the government has mobilized 255.48 billion rupees of its 595 billion rupees debt target, with external borrowing lagging at just 16.81% of the target. Debt servicing has reached 233.65 billion rupees, covering nearly half of the annual allocation and 3.33% of GDP. Now, scrub typhus, a rat mite-borne disease, is spreading rapidly across Nepal alongside a rise in seasonal colds and viral fevers. Caused by the bacterium Orencia susugumosi, the infection triggers high fever, severe headache, muscle pain, red eyes, and a distinctive black scab at the bite site. Health experts say doctors also warn that if left untreated, the disease can damage vital organs including the liver, kidneys and lungs and may prove fatal in severe cases. Infectious disease specialist Sher Bahadur Pun of Sukraraj Tropical and Communicable Disease Hospital said timely diagnosis and appropriate antibiotic treatment can fully cure the illness, urging the public to seek early medical care and maintain preventive measures. Pakistan carried out airstrikes on Afghanistan's capital Kabul on Friday as part of a broader wave of attacks, as government officials said, sharply escalating cross-border tensions. The strikes followed a major offensive launched by the Afghan Taliban against Pakistani military posts near the border late Thursday. As hostilities intensified, Pakistan's Prime Minister said the country has the full capability to crush any aggressive ambitions, while the Defense Minister described the situation as an open war with the Taliban. A Taliban spokesperson claimed on X that the group had launched renewed attacks on Pakistani troops, though the post was later deleted. Nepal Police Club and Tribhuvan Army Club have advanced to the final of the J Trophy cricket tournament. Army secured their place after the match against Nepal APF Club ended in a draw at Mulpani International Cricket Ground, where APF fell short at 228 at the loss of 7 wickets while chasing 381 runs. However, Army secured the berth in the final as it is table toppers. It has accumulated a total of 66 points from 1 win and 2 draws. Meanwhile, defending champions Police defeated Bagmati Province by 8 wickets at TU International Cricket Ground to book their final berth. Police finished second with 2 wins and a loss, trailing Army by 0.5 points in the table. According to Cricket Association of Nepal (CAN), the final initially set for March 1 to 3 has been rescheduled to April 5 to 7 owing to the upcoming elections. Nepal gears up for March 5 polls with tightened security and heightened voter awareness. As the silence period nears, crucial do's and don'ts come into focus. More on this after a short break. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Welcome back. As Nepal enters the final stretch before polling day, the Election Commission of Nepal has stepped up nationwide preparations to ensure a peaceful, credible and orderly vote. With just 6 days remaining for the March 5 election, security has been tightened, monitoring intensified and voter awareness efforts strengthened across the country. However, as the silence period approaches and restrictions come into force, what needs to be done and what must be avoided? Diksha Awasthi takes a look.
With merely 1 week to go, the Election Commission says its top priority is to conduct a clean, credible and fear-free vote. The Commission is working sharply on security measures, encouraging candidates to adhere to the Election Code of Conduct and carry out campaigns diligently while awareing the voters nationwide. The Home Ministry, in coordination with the Commission, intensified deployment of security agencies with polling locations categorized based on sensitivity and monitored accordingly. Border vigilance has also tightened with instructions to close international border points in concerned districts 72 hours before voting to prevent cross-border interference.
4 लेयरमा सुरक्षा व्यवस्थापन गरिएको छ। निर्वाचन प्रहरी, नेपाल प्रहरी, नेपाल सशस्त्र प्रहरी, त्यसपछि नेपाली सेना को सुरक्षा व्यवस्था छ। यो व्यवस्था बमोजिम सुरक्षा निकायहरूले निर्वाचन आयोगसँगको भएको छलफलका आधारमा, निर्वाचन आयोगमा भएको सुरक्षा समितिले गरेको निर्णयका आधारमा सुरक्षा कर्मीहरू चाहिँ विभिन्न मतदान केन्द्रहरूमा र मतदान केन्द्रदेखि बाहेकका क्षेत्रहरूमा पनि सुरक्षा व्यवस्थाका लागि खटाइएको अवस्था छ।
Meanwhile, to minimize election-related disturbances, the Commission has imposed a nationwide ban on the sale, distribution and consumption of alcohol starting from 7 days before polling until the final results are announced. On the polling day, movement will tighten further. Except for essential services and vehicles with official passes, all public and private vehicles will be restricted from March 4 midnight until voting concludes on March 5 evening. Air flights, domestic or international, however, will continue as usual. For political parties and candidates, the Commission's message is unambiguous. Comply fully with the Code of Conduct. From 2nd of March midnight, the legally mandated silence period comes into force. During this time, all forms of election campaigning, physical or digital, are strictly prohibited. Authorities have instructed chief district officers and monitoring committees to take immediate legal action against violations under the Election Offences and Punishment Act 2016 and the Election Code of Conduct. Candidates have also been reminded to maintain respectful campaigning and not obstruct rivals' election activities. For voters, the Commission is emphasizing readiness and awareness. Only voters whose names appear on the voter list will be allowed to cast ballots, and they must carry at least one valid identification document, including voter ID, citizenship certificate, national ID, passport, land ownership certificate, or driver's license. Officials are also urging voters to verify their polling centers in advance, follow lawful conduct during the silence period, and rely only on official information to avoid misinformation. With security tightening, campaigns winding down, and voters preparing to head to the polls, the credibility of the March 5 election will now be tested on the ground across Nepal. Diksha Awasthi with camera person Rasila Shrestha reporting for NTV World.
With Nepal's House of Representatives election just a week away, security has been tightened nationwide, particularly at sensitive polling stations. Dolakha district, identified as one of the most sensitive areas due to past incidents of booth capturing and clashes, is under high-level monitoring. Home Minister Om Prakash Aryal and Acting Chief Election Commissioner Ram Prasad Bhandari visited Baiteshwar too to inspect security arrangements and ensure voter safety. Authorities stress that these measures aim to allow citizens to vote in a fear-free environment.
यसपालि अब हामी त चुनावी सरकार हो, यो नागरिक सरकार हो। हामी अब कानुन कार्यान्वयन गर्नलाई हामी हिचकिचाउँदैनौँ। यसपालि कुनै पक्षधरता छैन, हामीले खाली कानुनको पक्ष लिने हो। कानुन विपरीतका क्रियाकलापहरू हुन्छन् भनेदेखि कसैको मतदानको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ, कोही उम्मेदवारको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ, मतदाताको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ, अरू कसैको राष्ट्र सेवकको अधिकार हनन हुन्छ। जोसुकै अधिकार हनन हुन्छ र कानुन विपरीतका काम भएका छन् भनेदेखि चाहिँ हामीले त्यसलाई निस्तेज गर्छौं र बाँकी चाहिँ कानुनी कारबाही पनि गर्छौं। दण्डहीनता रहन दिदैनौं। अहिले गलत क्रियाकलाप गर्नेलाई हामीले उन्मुक्ति दिन सक्दैनौं यसपालि।
Election Commission of Nepal has reported that out of 3,406 candidates registered for the upcoming House of Representatives elections on March 5, only 1,670 have opened bank accounts for election-related finances. Similarly, of the 65 political parties participating, only 11 have set up accounts, including major parties such as the Nepali Congress, Rashtriya Jana Morcha, and the Nepali Communist Party. Election Commission's assistant spokesperson Sita Punstri said the accounts are required to ensure transparency in campaign funding and adherence to legal expenditure limits. The system is designed to allow authorities to effectively monitor financial assistance received by both candidates and parties during the election period. Officials emphasize that compliance with this requirement is critical for maintaining the integrity of Nepal's democratic process. And that wraps up our cover story of the day. On to the next. Nepal faces a cooking gas crunch despite higher imports, leaving households in long queues. Amid rising frustration, election promises aim to tackle hoarding and ensure fair supply. More on this after a short break. Welcome back. Time for Issue of the Day. As Nepal approaches its general elections, households are facing severe cooking gas shortages despite a reported 25% increase in imports by the Nepal Oil Corporation. Long queues, empty cylinders and allegations of black market hoarding are leaving consumers frustrated, while candidates promise to ensure fair distribution and curb illegal practices. Our colleague Siksha Sharma with Pawan Barsasha brings a report.
As Nepal heads towards its general elections, households are struggling to get cooking gas, despite claims by Nepal Oil Corporation that imports have increased by 25%. Many depots report shortages, leaving families waiting weeks for a single cylinder.
कालोबजारी गर्न खोजेका छन् पैसा धेरै दिए 4-5 हजार सम्म तिर्नेलाई अहिले तुरुन्तै दिन्छन् अनि हामी सामान्य मान्छेलाई चाहिँ सोध्दाखेरि ग्यास आइरहेको भए पनि 2 हप्ता 3 हप्ता लाग्छ चुनाव पछि आउँछ भनेछन् यहाँ चाहिँ ब्ल्याकमेलिङ भइरहेछ
जहाँ पहिला लिन्थ्यो त्यहाँ गएको बेलामा भन्छ 5,500 देऊ अनि ग्यास पुलिस लिएर जाऊ सिलिन्डर दिनु पर्दैन भन्छ.
Consumers say they often carry empty cylinders from store to store, and some depots only sell to those who pay extra. However, candidates are campaigning door-to-door promise to curb black market practices and ensure steady supply.
जुन डिलरबाट लाइनबाट दिनुपर्ने हो यो पाएको छैन यो अलि अन्याय जस्तो भइरहेछ यो जुन मान्छेले यो को होटलवालाले 10 वटा 15 वटा नि यहाँ उठाएर लइरहेको छ जुन मान्छेले डिपोबाट लाइनबाट पाउने त्यो पाएको छैन.
Gas vendors argue that shortages occur because some consumers buy more than they need, creating local scarcity. Nepal Oil Corporation says imports have risen and private companies are helping with distribution.
सबै सिलिन्डर बिक्री भइरहेको अवस्थालाई मध्यनजर गर्दै हामीले अनुगमनलाई अलिकति टाइट गरेका छौं. केही गुनासाहरू आएका छन्. त्यो गुनासा भनेको चाहिँ केही विक्रेताहरूले चाहिँ बढी पैसा लिएर बिक्री गरिरहेको. त्यो बढी पैसा लिनको लागि पनि सिलिन्डर छैन मैले खोजेर ल्याइदिनु पर्छ भनेर केही न केही 200-400 रुपैयाँ बढी लिएर बेचेको हामीलाई इन्फर्मेसन आएको आधारमा हामीले चाहिँ अनुगमन तीव्र पारेका छौं र यो चाहिँ आम निर्वाचनसम्म हामी कन्टिन्यू यसरी नै अनुगमन पनि गर्छौं र अहिले अब उपभोक्ताहरूले खासै अब ग्यासको अभाव हुन्छ कि भनेर आत्तिनुपर्ने अवस्था पक्कै पनि छैन.
Yet long queues outside TECO headquarters tell a different story. Consumer rights advocates blame traders exploiting shortages and weak oversight.
आपूर्तिमा समस्या छैन निगमले समस्या देखाइरहेको छ हामीले बढाएका छौं हाम्रो चाहिँ सिलिन्डर संख्या बुलेट संख्या बढेको छ भन्छ उद्योगहरु बेचिरहेका छौं भन्छ तर बजारमा उपभोक्ताले महिनौसम्म लाइन बस्दा पनि पाएको अवस्था छैन. अहिले पनि डिलरका व्यक्तिहरूले 400-500 भन्दा बढी सिलिन्डर हामीसँग वेटमा छन् भनिएको अवस्था छ भनेपछि यो के कारणले समस्या उत्पन्न भएको तत्कालै पत्ता लगाएर डिलरको बदमाशी हो कि उद्योगको बदमाशी हो कि निगमले नै चाहिँ बुलेरो संख्या ढाडिरहेको अवस्था हो कि यो सबै पक्षको रूपमा चाहिँ नियमन गर्नको निमित्त प्रधानमन्त्री कार्यालयले छिटोभन्दा छिटो हस्तक्षेप गराएर आपूर्ति सहज गर्नको निमित्त विशेष व्यवस्था गराएर ग्यास सहज गर्ने काम चाहिँ तत्काल गर्नुपर्छ.
Nepal consumes 90,000 to 100,000 cylinders daily, but with supply over 172,000, transparency and fair distribution remain the real challenges. Meanwhile, traders take advantage of the system, hiding gas and fueling black market sales, leaving ordinary consumers to bear the cost.
In this context, we asked the public what problems are they facing while buying cooking gas. Let's have a look.
यो डिपोमा छापा हान्न लगाउनु पर्यो के अनि सहज हुन्छ नत्र यस्तो तालले यहाँ ग्यास आउला भन्ने मैले देखेको छैन बिहानभरि भइसक्यो यो लाइन पछि आज बिहानभरि
त्यहाँले भन्नुभएको ग्यास आउँदैन अब पाउने गाह्रो भएको छ अब चुनाव पछि हुन्छ होला भन्नुभएको थियो अनि यहाँनिर पाइन्छ भनेर पठाइदिनु भएको
धेरै दिन भइसक्यो 15-16 दिन भइसक्यो ग्यास नपाएको अब पाउन लाग्यो ग्यासको लाइन बसेछु
मेरो त होटल छ क्या होटलमा दिनको झन्डै एउटा लाग्छ तपाईँको जहिले पनि लाइन बस्यो अनि एउटा भन्दा पाउँदैन फेरि अनि नाम लेख्छ फोन नम्बर टिप्छ अनि तँलाई अस्ति लागेको भन्छ ग्यास नदिएर अनि मेरो त बिजोग भइरहेछ अनि उहाँ काम गर्ने कि यता लाइन बस्ने गरेर खानुपर्ने यस्तो साह्रै बिजोग जात्रा भइरहेछ अहिले गर्छ छैन अरे घर छैन सर्टेज छ भन्छ अनि त्यही कारणले यहाँ आएको
यहाँ ग्यास चाहिँ अलिक पाउन त पाइरहेछ तर अलिकति दुविधा भइरहेछ किनभने अलिक टाढाको मान्छे आएर बिहानदेखि लाइनमा बस्नुपर्ने हुन्छ 12 बजी अगाडि ग्यास आइन्न त्यही भएर अलिक गाह्रो चाहिँ भएको छ र पनि अब आएपछि पाउन त पाइरहेछ यो एक ट्रिपमा पाएन भने अर्को ट्रिप आउँछ त्यो ट्रिपमा चाहिँ पाइन्छ
That brings us to the end of our Issue of the Day segment. Now to more updates. Newly appointed Chinese ambassador to Nepal, Zhang Maoming, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Sushila Karki at Singadarbar, Kathmandu. During the meeting, Prime Minister Karki congratulated Ambassador Maoming and expressed confidence that he would strengthen Nepal-China relations and efficiently discharge his diplomatic responsibilities. Ambassador Maoming lauded Nepal for conducting peaceful elections and reaffirmed China's commitment to supporting Nepal's democratic process. Both leaders exchanged greetings for the new year and discussed ongoing cooperation in development projects, cultural ties and partnerships between the two countries. Prime Minister Karki emphasized Nepal's adherence to the Panchashil principles and reaffirmed the country's commitment to the One China policy, highlighting the historical and geographical bonds shared by the nations. Similarly, Pakistan's ambassador to Nepal, Abrar H. Hasmi, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Sushila Karki at the office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers in Singadarbar on Thursday. The two discussed matters of bilateral interest with Ambassador Hasmi, congratulating the Prime Ministers on the restoration of peace and the upcoming elections. Prime Minister Karki thanked Pakistan for its goodwill and support toward Nepal's democratic stability. Both sides expressed commitment to further strengthening Nepal-Pakistan relations, cooperation and partnership. District Administration Office of Kathmandu, Nepal, has urged residents to celebrate Holi, the country's major spring festival, peacefully while keeping the upcoming parliamentary elections in mind. Authorities have requested people to avoid large public gatherings, fairs and the sale of distribution of alcohol in open spaces, emphasizing that celebrations are allowed within homes in a religious and cultural manner. The office highlighted that the Election Code of Conduct prohibits the use of candidates' symbols, flags, stickers or campaign materials during festivals or public events. Officials also warned that pouring paint or water against someone's will, causing noise or engaging in disorderly behavior violates the law. The notice aims to ensure that holy festivities do not disturb public order or interfere with the electoral process in Nepal's upcoming elections. A 4.7 magnitude earthquake struck near the border of Songkhla and Taplejung districts in eastern Nepal at 3:18 a.m. on February 27. According to the National Seismological Center, the epicenter was located near Topkegola in Songkhla. Tremors from the quake were felt across both districts, causing alarm among residents. Initial reports indicate that there have been no casualties or damage to property. Authorities continue to monitor the situation and have advised residents to remain alert for any aftershocks. Moving on, youths from Nepal's far western districts are gaining hands-on training and real work opportunities through local government initiatives. The Dhangari Sub-Metropolis Employment Fair has connected participants from Sudurpashchim province with jobs already requested by employers, confirmed internships and skill-building programs that are expected to turn training into tangible career paths. Sarah Sapsanama Rai with local correspondent Dinesh Bista brings more.
A skill and employment fair launched by the local level has pledged employment to hundreds of youths. The 2 days fair was aimed at connecting young people of 88 local levels across Sudurpashchim province with practical opportunities, tackling unemployment and making them self-reliant. Youths from 83 local levels participated in the program this year.
बेसिक नलेज पनि थाहा थिएन हामीलाई जस्तै बारिस्टा भनेको के हो भनेर पनि थाहा थिएन त्यो चाहिँ मैले यही बारिस्टामा आएर सिक्न पाएँ त्यसमा म धेरै खुसी छु र त्यही तालिम सिक्दैखेरि मैले अन्य हामी अब जबमा जाँदाखेरि पनि हामीले के कुराहरूमा ध्यान दिनुपर्छ के कुरा महत्त्वपूर्ण छ भन्ने कुराहरू पनि जान्न पाएकोमा म धेरै
Various skill-based trainings across 22 different subjects were provided to them. As an impact, various employers issued a formal demand for 145 workers during the event. Out of this demand, 136 individuals have already undergone interviews, while 12 have been selected for internships. A special 2-day job matching session was also held, resulting in different employment for 21 participants, highlighting that such training bridges skill building with real economic opportunity. Deputy Mayor Kandakala Kumari Rana expressed confidence that the program lays a strong foundation for the future of young people.
जसमा सबैजना युवाले राम्रोसँग उत्साहजनकबाट तालिम लिनुभयो र गत वर्ष पनि हामी सुरु गरेका थियौं गत वर्षको उपलब्धि राम्रो र त्यसको हौसलाले यो वर्षको उपलब्धि पनि हामीमा एकदमै राम्रो भयो.
Following the initial training, participants were categorized into employment and self-employment groups, and they were provided with an additional 5 days of advanced training. According to the sub-metropolis, 216 individuals received entrepreneurship training. 223 underwent employment counseling. The organizers have already forwarded the profiles of several trained participants to potential employers. For those choosing the path of self-employment, coordination and facilitation will be provided through their respective local municipalities. Organizers claim that the fair is establishing itself as an effective province-level platform aimed at closing the gap between skills, opportunity and actual employment.
Time now for international updates, but before that, let's have a quick look of the headlines. Nepal enters final stretch before crucial House of Representatives election. Election Commission advises on procedures ahead of polls. Nepalis face long queues for cooking gas as elections spark panic buying and shortages. Nepal's public debt surpasses over 2.8 trillion, reaches 46.81% of GDP. Scrub typhus spreads rapidly in Nepal amid seasonal illnesses, health experts warn. Pakistan-Afghanistan tensions erupt into an open war. Taliban attack Pakistani posts despite October ceasefire. And Nepal Police Club and 3-1 Army set for J Trophy final March rescheduled to April 5 to 7. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the latest round of talks between Iran and the United States focused on Tehran's nuclear program and the lifting of sanctions, describing the discussions as making good progress. He said Iran had clearly outlined its demands and noted what he called evident seriousness from both sides to reach a negotiated solution. The talks come amid a significant U.S. military build-up in the region and repeated warnings from Donald Trump that strikes could follow if diplomacy fails. Arakshi said technical teams will meet at the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna on Monday to continue discussions with the agency's experts. He added that another round of high-level talks between Tehran and Washington could take place within a week. Previous negotiations last year collapsed after an Israeli attack on Iran in June sparked a 12-day conflict. An Indian court acquitted the former chief minister of the capital, Delhi, on Friday in a long-running corruption probe the man had called a political conspiracy by the ruling party. Opposition Aam Adami Party leader Arvind Kejriwal was Delhi's chief minister before losing elections in 2025 in the midst of the judicial proceedings. Kejriwal, 57, who spent several months in jail after he was arrested in March 2024 on accusations that his administration received kickbacks from the allocation of liquor licenses, wept as he left court. A key opponent to Modi, he had consistently denied wrongdoing. On Friday, a Delhi court cleared him, his former deputy Manish Sisodia, and 21 others of all charges. The UN Rights Chief, Volker Turk, addressed the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva on Friday, condemning mounting threats to women's rights worldwide, highlighting rampant femicide and horrific abuse exposed in cases like that of U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He also highlighted the extreme situation in Afghanistan, warning that the system of segregation imposed on women is reminiscent of apartheid based on gender rather than race.
Violence against women, including femicide, is a global emergency. Around 50,000 women and girls worldwide were killed in 2024, most by family members. I'm also deeply concerned by the growing number of attacks, including online, against women in public life.
Britain's ruling Labour Party suffered a heavy defeat in a by-election in northern England, finishing third behind the left-wing Greens and the hard-right Reform UK in what had been a traditional stronghold. Prime Minister Keir Starmer acknowledged voter frustration and described the result as disappointing, but said he would not resign amid mounting political pressure.
It's a very disappointing result. Incumbent governments quite often get results like that mid-term, but I do understand that voters are frustrated, they're impatient for change. And I came into politics, late in life as it happens, to fight for change for those people who need it, the people who need an NHS that works for them, to be able to get a doctor's appointment when they need it, to get the money they need in their pockets to pay their bills, and to have a decent and better life. And I will keep on fighting for those people for as long as I've got breath.
In other news, 7 irregular migrants from sub-Saharan Africa have been found dead on a beach east of Libya's capital, Tripoli, a Libyan Red Crescent worker told AFP on Sunday. Among them were 3 children, the worker said, adding that there were likely other dead migrants who have not yet been found. The Libyan Red Crescent did not provide details on the circumstances of their death. The organization said in a statement it recovered 7 bodies from a beach in Qasr al-Akhyar belonging to irregular immigrants. The bodies were found Saturday night in a coastal town some 73 kilometers east of Tripoli. Libya is a key transit country for thousands of migrants attempting to reach Europe each year, with deaths among migrants frequently reported. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi said on Friday she opposes changing the imperial family's male-only succession rules as pressure mounts on lawmakers to address the issue of the monarchy's survival. Only the male offspring of the male side of the family can currently ascend the ancient chrysanthemum throne. Since Emperor Naruhito 66 only has 1 daughter, hopes for continuing the imperial family lie with Prince Hisahito, the teenage son of Crown Prince Akishino. Prime Minister Takaichi told Parliament on Friday that a panel of experts in 2021 found it appropriate to limit eligibility to those who are male descendants belonging to the imperial lineage. and she respected their conclusion as well. She previously warned that revising the imperial family's succession rules was an urgent matter, although this would likely involve adopting new members. Even though tradition dictates only a man can carry on the imperial line, which goes back 2,600 years according to legend, opinion polls have shown high support for a woman taking the throne. Time now for business updates, but before that, let's take a short break.
Executives from British oil giant Shell held talks with Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez on potential gas investments as Caracas moves to attract foreign capital into its energy sector. The discussions follow the capture of former leader Nicolas Maduro by U.S. forces in January and the subsequent political changes. Rodriguez, who previously served as vice president, has introduced reforms to Venezuela's hydrocarbon laws to open the sector to private and foreign participation. The United States has eased a 7-year oil embargo and granted licenses to several major firms, including Chevron, BP, Eni, Morrell and Prom, and Repsol, to resume operations in the country. Venezuela's oil output has recovered from a historic low of about 360,000 barrels per day in 2020 to 1.2 million barrels per day in 2025, though it remains well below the 3 million barrels per day produced 25 years ago. Shell, which has operated in Venezuela since the early 20th century, had scaled back its activities in 2019 due to sanctions, but is now exploring renewed involvement under the revised framework. The European Union will implement a mammoth trade deal with the South American Mercosur bloc while waiting for a top court's ruling on its legality, says EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen. The European Commission move, announced after Argentina and Uruguay ratified the agreement a day earlier, comes despite strong opposition from key power France. The deal still needs a green light from lawmakers in the European Parliament, which referred it to the EU's top court within days of it being inked in January. France has led opposition to the deal and unsuccessfully attempted to block it over worries for its farmers, who fear being undercut by cheaper goods from Brazil and its neighbors. Negotiated over 25 years, Mercosur would create a free trade area spanning more than 700 million people between the EU and Latin America, including Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Netflix has backed away from its proposal to buy Warner Bros. Discovery, clearing the way for Paramount Skydance to win a months-long battle for one of Hollywood's most storied studios in a deal worth around $111 billion. Warner Bros., which put itself up for sale last year, on Thursday said Paramount's latest bid was superior to the one from Netflix, which in turn refused to raise its offer. Netflix executives say they have declined to match Paramount's bid as the deal is no longer financially attractive at that price. The buyer would gain control of the iconic studio along with its films and media networks, a takeover that could significantly reshape the media landscape. But California Attorney General Rob Bonta said later on Thursday that a potential merger is not a done deal. Bonta had said earlier this month that his office would review any deal involving Warner Bros. As the entertainment industry represents a critical sector for California's economy. Paramount would also need approval from the U.S. Department of Justice as well as the European regulators.
Time for sports update. The 6th FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola has officially reached Brazil, where the iconic original trophy was unveiled by President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva during a special ceremony celebrating the country's deep connection with world football. The ceremony brought together emblematic figures of Brazilian soccer. Both male and female Brazil is among 30 FIFA member associations set to welcome the FIFA World Cup original trophy ahead of the historic 2026 tournament to be staged across Canada, Mexico and the United States. After getting underway in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on 3rd of January, the prestigious trophy has continued its global journey with late January and early February stops in Indonesia, Thailand, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, Morocco, Portugal, Spain, Algeria, France and Guatemala. Throughout the tour, the trophy has been accompanied by FIFA legends including Fabian Barthez, Roberto Carlos and Jurgen Klinsmann. The trophy tour, spanning 30 member associations, 75 stops and more than 150 days, is giving supporters around the world a once-in-a-lifetime chance to experience the magic of the FIFA World Cup before the first ball is kicked on 11th of June. Now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then the world. We are at the end of our news bulletin, but before we wrap up, let's have a look at the headlines once again. Nepal enters final stretch before crucial House of Representatives election. Election Commission advises on procedures ahead of polls. Nepalis face long queues for cooking gas as elections spark panic buying and shortages. Nepal's public debt surpasses over 2.8 trillion, reaches 46.81% of GDP. Scrub typhus spreads rapidly in Nepal amid seasonal illnesses, health experts warn. Pakistan-Afghanistan tensions erupt into an open war. Taliban attack Pakistani post despite October ceasefire. And Nepal Police Club and Tribhuvan Army set for J Trophy final, match rescheduled to April 5 to 7. That is all for the moment. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates at www.nepaltelevision.com. I am Ipralagi Singh Lama. Thank you for watching. Good night.